sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Lollipop, blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Canesware at Miami Fanware in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at canesware.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canesware, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. Ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning. Welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll and have some fun on the program. Hope you all are doing well on a beautiful Tuesday as we work our way through the week. We got a lot of things going on this week, right? Because the Heat season opens up on Thursday. Last night they beat the Hornets. They ended up the preseason undefeated. Not that that means anything whatsoever, but it does look good, right? Because they look pretty in sync, actually. Something we've been waiting for our Dolphins to be in sync. And the Dolphins, of course, getting ready for the performance on Sunday in London against the Jags. And a lot of the Dolph fans in London ready to see their team. I hope they see the good portion of the Miami Dolphins that hasn't really shown up much this year. And they get Tua. So that's a good thing. I'm happy for our London fans that they get to see Tua. That's pretty cool. So we got a lot of things to talk about. Last night, really entertaining game. Lamar Jackson put on a show last night. Jonathan Taylor put on a show last night. It was actually a better game than I expected. I thought it'd be a decent game, but it was actually a really entertaining game when it's all said. I mean, when it goes to overtime, it's like, come on, dude, I got to wake up in the morning, and I just. Come on, man. No overtime for me. But anyway, they ended it quickly, which was good. And then, of course, we've got Ken Gruden getting kicked out of the Raiders and the NFL. I know he says he stepped down, but eventually they were going to they fired. That was going to be what was going to end up happening. So, I mean, we got a lot of things to talk about today on the program. From a little Cane stuff to a little baseball, a little golf, a little music. We got other things that I want to share with all of you out there, too, that we got to talk about. Remember, first of all, smash the like button. Very important to smash the like button. Sunday, you're not going to have a lot of bars open early in the morning. Well, guess what? Sports Grill in Miami Lakes, we are going to be open. Sean and I are going to be there starting off at 7:30 in the morning to do our pregame show. You guys can show up, get ready for the Dolphins, and have breakfast. Okay, so pancakes, and you can have chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits and some bacon and whatever. Or if you want to have your wings or your burgers and your beers, you can do that too, but you can have a little coffee also. So, it's kind of it's a different way of enjoying a game. And it's only at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes, right off of 154th and the Palmetto, right on the west side. So please come on out and join us. Now let's look, Tua's back. Let's have some fun. Let's cheer on the boys. Let's have a great atmosphere. You know what I mean? Let's be grateful that we can have a great Sunday together as Dolphin fans. We get Tua back. Hopefully we get a fun performance. Hopefully we start to see them turn the corner, which would be really nice. So I encourage you all out there to come on out this Sunday to Sports Grill in Miami Lakes for our Dolphins and Jags game in London. Special broadcast. We start off at 7:30. We'll get you ready. 9:30 will be the game. We'll be back at, I would imagine, right around 12:30, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, right around there. I don't know, whenever the game ends, right around that time. We'll be back with the post-game show. We'll end early, and everybody can go home and watch the rest of the games and chill out. Like you'll feel like Thanksgiving, because in the morning you'll be eating your breakfast and all that kind of stuff, and by the afternoon you'll feel like you had a whole bunch of tryptophan with your turkey, and you're just going to feel like kind of napping out a little bit. I know Sean and I are going to feel like napping by the time those 4 o'clock games roll around and we're home trying to, and especially Sean, because Sean's got to battle with the audio and the video and all that. So he's got to fight the happy tummy, wanting to sleep, and then all that work out there. Are you ready for that Sunday afternoon, Sean? Do you know how daunting of a task that's going to be for you? Are you prepared for
Bring
that?
it on. Dolphins better win.
Yes, it is. It is a must win. He's right about that. Sean is right. It's a must win. Your ass better win this game. Okay? I mean, there's no other way to put it. You better come up with a victory. And if you don't come up with a victory, we're going to be incredibly pissed. And you know how we've had this. We're in a state right now where none of us are satisfied, right? And I know some of you out there, you want to fire everybody. I'm not there. I don't want to fire Chris Greer. I don't want to fire Flo. I want them to figure it out. I want them to survive this year. I want them to finish really, really strong. I want Tua to have an incredible 12-game stretch. So that way we can kind of, pick up the pieces and finish this thing off. And listen, right now, we're not satisfied with anything. We're not satisfied with the players. We're not satisfied with the coaches. We're not satisfied with the owner. We're not satisfied with the front office. I get all of that. Okay? I understand wherever you're coming from. In my eyes right now, I'm more about the coaches. I've been telling you now since the game that I'm more about the coaches than the front office, than the owner, than the players. Okay? Because to me, as I've pointed out, when Jerome Baker's not playing well and neither is X and neither is Byron Jones, then how do I expect you to get the rookies and the second-year players to play better? I don't. And I want you yesterday, Jeff Boyer, who is the defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, had a press conference. Josh Boyer, I'm sorry. And I want you, we're going to go, it's a short press conference. It's a 6-minute press conference. But it's a deep press conference. It's a press conference that sends a message, not just to you, the fans, not just to the media, but also to his players. And it was one where, the coach was coming out and saying, hey, the scheme is good, this and that. We're just not executing, right? So he kind of laid it on the players. And to me, I snap back at Coach Flo and say, it's all on you and your coaches. And I want you to listen to Josh Boyer. I want you to, if you're on the podcast, you got to listen. On YouTube channel right now, you can actually watch and listen. And I'm going to play this press conference for you. And I want you to listen to all of the answers. Okay? All right, here's the first answer.
Well, I think what we put on film is what we are, and I think it all starts with you look at for myself, I've got to do a better job of coordinating the whole thing to make sure that we're better at run defense, pass defense, pass rush. So that's where I started.
Okay, now you saw how he, for myself, right? And I got to do a better job of coordinating and all that and putting them right. Here we go. Now I want you to keep listening.
To do a better job of making sure that I'm putting guys in position to make plays. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Now remember, it's responsible for the coach to fall on the sword and not point at the players. It is. So some of you might think, well, he's got to do that. But I want you to listen.
Thanks.
It's a pause. We just
Say hi.
There we go. It just takes a little bit for the next question.
Yeah. Hi, Josh. I'm curious. You come out of a game like that. And you looked at the film now. What concerned you the most out of? We could go any number of questions, but as you looked at it, what's your thoughts?
Question number 2. Here we go.
Well, I think the major concern, very similar to what I just told Barry, is you look at yourself and make sure that everything's coordinated. And obviously we need to do better in all phases of the game. And you look at things that you need to change to get better, to get more production, to get things to carry over to Sundays. Like I said, our players, they prepare well, they work hard, and obviously, I've got to do a better job of making sure that we can see some of that translate to Sundays and, change some things up to make sure that we're getting that production.
Notice how he fell on the sword again, right? And notice how he talked about how we're practicing well and we're playing well. And you notice how the coach also, Flo, said that, hey, we're not committing those mistakes and penalties in practice, but somehow they're not translating to the game. That's all coaching. That's all coaching right there. So if they're not doing it in practice, but they're doing it in the games, then that's on you. You know what I mean? And listen to Josh Boyer. He almost sounds like a coach that was thoroughly ripped by his head coach because he's not running his defense properly.
If I could just do a quick follow-up, you guys have been on the field a lot every game. Do you see the wearing down being a problem through the course of the game?
No, I don't think it's a conditioning thing or, like I said, our players work hard. They put in, we need to make more of opportunities to get off the field and, in third down situations. And, again, that starts with myself putting the players in a better position.
Again, falls on the sword. Follow-up.
Omar?
I want to ask about I know you guys are a primarily man team, but when you've got a team running so many crossers, what's the role of the linebackers in those situations where, guys are getting rubbed, guys are getting picked, and what's their role in that?
Well, it depends. Like sometimes if you're in man coverage, like those guys could have particular coverage as well. Like we don't always have somebody free. Sometimes they are free and they'll force one crosser to go in a different direction. But if you got multiple crossers, then obviously you can't get all of them in that situation. And again, there's different coverages, different things that you can do to those crossers, and and there's different ways you can handle man too. So there's a lot of variables that go into that. So again, obviously, I've got to do a better job putting our players in position to defend those.
Once again, this guy's got more holes in his body than Swiss cheese.
Hal?
Hi, Josh. Earlier we spoke with Brian, and he was expressing concern with the run defense. But I wanted to ask you about the pass defense yesterday. The Bucs put up 437 and 5 touchdown passes against your secondary, and I'm wondering, what did you see out of that secondary that concerned you from yesterday's game?
Again, I think it's we need to improve in all phases. We need to improve in the pass defense, the pass rush, the run defense, and again, I think that starts with me coordinating it better and putting the players in better position. And none of it was good enough, and that's my fault.
There's not enough blood transfusion for this man at this point.
Does anyone have any other questions for Coach Boyer?
Can we ask him one more so he can fall on the sword at least one more time? Omar, please help us.
Josh, what did Raekwon look like? I mean, 37 snaps for a nose tackle. That seems relatively high. Did he look like he can handle that kind of workload?
Yeah, Raekwon's worked very hard to get back, and and obviously there were some good things that he did out there, and there's some things that hopefully we'll get a little bit better as time goes. But he's worked so hard to get back and keep himself in good shape. and go out there and do some good things. And then hopefully we can build on those.
Barry?
No falling on the sword.
Josh, you told us a couple minutes ago you have to change some things up. Were you talking only about schematics and play calls, or were you also referring to possibility of personnel changes in terms of playing time allocation?
Well, I think, again, all of our guys, that you see out there on the field, we feel comfortable with. So I think, it's a matter of, fine-tuning better, whether it's schemes or, whatever it may be, or different calls in different situations, to put the players in better position. Like, ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. And I would just say, for me, that's where it starts.
So there you go. That's Josh Boyer, defensive coordinator for your Miami Dolphins. And it seems like a guy that is well aware that he is not performing at the level that he's supposed to. Like, really, none of the coaches are. As I've told you before, I don't believe all these young players are bad picks. It's too much of a coincidence. It just is. And to me, that's the problem I think we have right now. And it starts with flow, and it trickles down to the rest of the coaches. That's the biggest problem right now. I think Chris Grier can actually do a good job. Chris Grier may end up paying the price because of flow more than anything else. What Chris Grier has to do is probably take more control and not be, so nice and give the coach, the leeway. Like when he says, oh, I can coach Jacoby Brissett. No, I can get somebody better. Maybe you tell him, no, I'm bringing back Fitz. Sorry, Fitz is the better quarterback. But, these are the things that you've got to kind of work through. But when I'm watching that yesterday with Josh Boyer, I'm going, is this a coach that just got ripped by his head coach? Because that's the other thing about flow that I'm trying to figure out. Is this a dude that doesn't take suggestions, and this is a dude that is just his way or the highway, or, and it's he gets rid of everybody. And so that becomes an issue. And when you're not performing the way right now, the way this team is going, that's where I got to lay the issues, because there are veteran players, as I've pointed out, that aren't playing well. The sides, each side of the football isn't playing well. So before I get to the young players, I want to know, what the hell are you doing with the established players? And what the hell is going on with your scheme and your play calls, whether it's offense or defense? So to me, when I saw Josh Boyer yesterday, I was like, wow, there's a dude that fell on the sword a whole bunch. Always uncomfortable for coaches when they can no longer hide behind the, football like as we coach do defense. Great channel, Big O. This is my first time watching. Just subscribed. Well, thank you very much. Subscribe. Please smash the like button. It is very, very important that you smash the like button. That gets the algorithms going, and other Heat fans and Dolphin fans and Hurricane fans and Inter Miami fans and Panther fans and Marlins fans and, all the local fans. And then, some sports fans, since we talk about everything else also, and talk a little music and a little crypto, which, by the way, way to go, Shib. Shib is still going strong, which is amazing. So thank you, TJG 3765, for chiming in and locking in. Appreciate it out there. Thank you. By the way, Dougley and I did a new video last night. I would imagine it's about dropped now, so you can check it out. Not right now, after you're done with us. But we had a good time. We had a great conversation, as we always do every week. So every Tuesday morning, you can get a new video with Dudley Do Wrong and myself on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to Dudley's channel, just like our channel. Okay. So there you go. You assume that it is Flo forcing decisions on Greer. What if it's the other way around? Maybe Flo wanted to keep Fitz. He loved the guy. Jerp, let me ask you something, dude. Are you a naive person? Do you have common sense a little bit? Just a little. Just a little. Okay. Let's play detective. All right. Because I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm pretty good at reading through the bullshit and everything else going on. So is it Flo or not that made all this crazy ass offensive coordinator changes? Flo, right? Isn't it Flo that got rid of the last offensive coordinator to get to Gailey to now get to these guys, right? So Fitz was clearly disappointed that he got benched. Why do you think Jacoby Brissett is here, my man? Do you think that that was actually Greer's pick? Greer's pick was Fitz. Flo's pick is Jacoby Brissett because that's what he knows. I guess you haven't been part of the conversation here in the last couple days from last week to the game, to pre and post game show on Sunday, or yesterday you weren't here. But for those of you that are probably either new to the channel or you just got on, let me just kind of refresh your minds and maybe, open yourself up so you can see what's obvious. Why is Kyle Van Noy here? Why is he gone? Why is Karras here? Why is he gone? That's Flo. Why is Jacoby Brissett here? Why is he gone? Those are all expatriates. Why is Eric Rowe here? Expatriate. Why is Justin Coleman here? Expatriate. Do you think that that's all Greer? That's all Flo. All these calls are Flo. And I'm starting to think the Alabama thing is all Flo because Belichick likes to draft Alabama players, and Belichick and Saban are best buddies, and Flo's been around them for a long time. So you end up with Jalen Waddle. You end up with Raekwon Davis. See what I'm saying? You end up with Tua. So if you start to really look around, that's why you end up with a Landon Roberts. Some of them work out and some of them don't. Landon Roberts has done a solid job. Rowe has done a solid job. Others have not. Justin Coleman, Jacoby Brissett. These are things that happen. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. But a lot of it, do you think Eric Flowers is gone because of Greer? No, dude, he signed him. He doesn't want to take the cap hit. That falls on the GM. It was Flo that said, because the GM doesn't tell you, get rid of the veteran lineman, you coach the young guy. No, the coach tells him, no, the young guys are ready to take a next step. You can get rid of this guy. So get rid of this guy. And the other guy, Emmanuel or whatever, the other what was it, Creole last name, French last name, he's helping out another team. That's Flo. The offensive line coach that has no experience developing offensive lines, that's Flo. Just look around, man. Pay attention. And you can tell the moves that are very influenced by Flo. And I think what Greer may have to do in the offseason is have a conversation with, Flo and say, hey, I got to make more of these decisions. Or maybe not have the conversation, just as time goes on, make more of the decisions. Say, no, we're not going to go with that. And that's been kind of the problem. I've talked about this, whether it's Gase or others. A lot of these coaches go back and do Jimmy Johnson. When he got here, he needed a middle linebacker. He brought Jack Del Rio in from Dallas, but he drafted Zach Thomas. And a week into camp, he told Jack, I'm going to let you go so you can try to get another job, dude, because I know it's going to be, tough, and I want you to try to get a job before all this craziness happens. This kid, Zach, is going to be my starter. So all coaches bring in guys that they're used to. Jimmy did it. Everybody does it. Dave Wannstedt does it. A lot of the coaches do it. So it's nothing new. But don't kid yourself, dude. Greer and Flo are tied together because Flo has had a lot of influence on what's gone on in personnel. And he's kind of, just like he's screwed himself with coaches, he has screwed himself with talent too at the same time with some of the decisions. But this is what happens. And that's why everybody will pay the price, unfortunately, if something goes, in the wrong direction. I hope they figure it out, man. They've got 12 games. They've got 12 games. If you can play well in those 12 games and win a good portion of those games, 7-8 games maybe. It's hard to think about that right now, the way they're playing. But if you can, and especially if Tua excels in those 12 games, then you've got a shot to say, okay, well, we've got our quarterback. Now we've got to fix the issues. And maybe it becomes a little more obvious that you've got to go get an offensive line to protect a young man so you can actually have an effective offense. But don't kid yourself, man. Flo has a ton of influence on what's been going on here, and it's pretty obvious. You don't even really need anybody in the building to give you any information or anything like that. It's written on the walls right there. It's definitely not written in the stars, as Tinny Tempaw would say. They passed on Drew Brees because of a shoulder injury. They did not want to make the same mistake in the past, so they picked the wrong quarterback, even though they knew he was injured. Well, it's not so much that he was coming back from the injury. What they did was they planned poorly in front of him. That's really what it is. It's not so much that you knew he was coming off an injury. That's not the problem. He can play, but dude, protect the kid. That's all. Protect the kid. If you got an injury-prone quarterback and he's not 6'5", and he's not built, like Justin Herbert, like Ben Roethlisberger, like, Dante Culpepper, like big-ass quarterbacks that can take a couple of hits. Look at Andrew Luck, a big-ass quarterback that got to a point and said, I'm not taking any more hits. I'm done. And that guy's a tree trunk. The real problem is they went too young on the line. That's the real problem. And because you went so young on the line, that's an issue. It just is. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, Fitz, and Chan left because they forced playing time on Tua and he wasn't better, and they know it. Team is fed up. Yeah, I'm sure that was an issue last year. There's no doubt in my mind last night that was definitely an issue. Remember, folks, please smash the hell out of that like button. It is very important that you smash the like button. Gets the algorithms going. It gets our show out there more, which, by the way, you guys have done a phenomenal job because the website, the YouTube channel is growing like wildfire, okay? So what we've done on audio over the last couple of years of building that up, now we're doing it on the video side, and it's going really, really well. And, on behalf of everybody that works here, Ira's coming up now, and Omar, and Alan, and Joe Shad, and Manny Navarro, and Clay Ferraro, and obviously Sean Stanley, who works as hard as anybody to put all of this together. So we all thank you, man, for the support that you guys are giving us, because we are growing leaps and bounds every single day. Thanks to all of you out there for smashing the like button, for sharing the link. Man, don't forget to hit the notification bell too, so you know when we're on and when there's a new video that is posted. Michael says, Big O, let's just say during the draft, if you were to draft players, what position do you prioritize and what position would you take in the first and second rounds? Example, O-line, your thoughts. Michael, I'm not going to talk about that now, dude. First of all, I don't know exactly what they need because I have 12 more games to find out who can play and who can't play. And then we'll figure it out. What the hell happens if Austin Jackson trips us all out and starts to dominate a guard and starts putting people on his asses and we're like, yo, what the hell is this? Then at the end of the year, we're going, well, you don't need a guard because Austin Jackson's a guard. You know what I mean? I don't know yet. So I got to wait and find out who can play, who can't play. And then we also have to find out who's coming out in the draft, what juniors are declaring, because that changes the draft. And then we also have to find out who's going to be available in free agency. And that's before the draft. There's so many unanswered questions that to go through all that gibberish now is a waste of time because there's no real facts to go off of. So until I know who's in the draft, until I know who's really a free agent, until I know who's injured and who's not, until I know who can play and who can't play by the end of the Dolphins season, I can't even dance around that subject. Makes no sense. It's just hypothetical bullshit that I don't like to play on this show. Big O, you don't draft an injury-prone, fragile QB at number 5, putting all your hopes and efforts in this rebuild on the selection of fragile QB do not last in the NFL, one of many poor decisions. You mean like Drew Brees? I'm just saying. I mean, he had a big-time shoulder injury that people thought he couldn't come back from, and somebody took a chance on him, and he came back and played well, and it's headed to the Hall of Fame, won a Super Bowl. Sometimes you can overcome your injuries. There are times. The more irresponsible thing was not protecting him. That was the irresponsible thing. Okay? If you're going to start a rookie quarterback, well, then build a line and build a running game. Get a monster back, get monster linemen, make life easier for him. But if you think he can sit back there and take a pounding like Ryan did, he's not going to last long. So that was the bad part about it. That was the part that was not planned the right way. They failed Tua the same way they failed Tanny. No O-line, many OCs. Last time we had a good line. The unicorn run game was electric, and we made the playoffs. O-line solves a lot of issues. Amen to that. Amen to that. O-line solves. That's why planning is extremely important. You know who knows how to plan? The Miami Heat. They know how to plan. You know who covers the Miami Heat? Ira Winderman. And you know who we're going to talk to next? Ira Winderman with our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. That's next.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Ira Winderman. Ira, how you doing, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Big O. Undefeated preseason. Don't know what that really means, but you know what? I guess like people always say, it beats the alternative.
Yeah, no, actually, it does mean something. It means squat in the standings and all that crap. But chemistry is very important because we always wonder and worry about when you add new players, how long will it take for chemistry to take over? And the good thing for the Miami Heat is most of the players you added are very smart, high IQ veterans. And that's what I've seen in the 4 games, and 4 games that they really haven't played everybody. Like yesterday, We didn't see Butler. But even that, even with the guys off the court, like a Butler, Lowry is smart enough to create the chemistry with the people that are on the court. And even the give and go with Bam yesterday, where he feeds Bam and then Bam feeds Lowry back for the layup, all these kind of little things at least in my eyes, if I'm going to put a positive spin on it, I like the chemistry I've seen in 4 games.
Yeah, I think Kyle Lowry's plug and play. I think you could put him on any of the
Yes.
30 NBA teams, and he's going to know
Yes.
what to do. He's a
Yeah.
pro's pro. Look, there's a downside to a 35-year-old. He's a 35-year-old. There's a reason not everyone was willing to give him $85 million over 3 years. It's a risk in the year ahead. But the advantage of a 35-year-old, he's seen it all. He's done it all. He's been in camps with all kinds of system. He arrives, he plays his game. PJ Tucker, just a winner in Houston, a winner, of course, with a championship in Milwaukee. He knows what that means. Markieff Morris feeling his way a little bit more, and we're seeing a little bit more uneven play out of him because of that. But what you're seeing is guys who have the right mentality, that this matters, that it's important, that they want to prove themselves. Bam talking to us last night about how this isn't the dog pound, this is the kennel, because there are a bunch of hungry dogs who want to get out of here. So
Right.
they have that good attitude. Not going to overstate. Look, they had a kid make a 3-point play in the last few seconds who's not going to be on this team when the season starts. God bless Javonte Smart. Maybe down the road, we've seen this with Tyler Johnson. He had a good preseason, went to Sioux Falls, came back, had a very productive NBA career. So you're developing that also down the road. But the most important thing, or as Pat Riley would say, the main thing being the main thing, is that the core pieces seem to fit, is that the young players have improved and they're showing development. We've seen that similarly with the Panthers, which is why we're hopeful for them. We've seen it with the Marlins until they trade the players who develop. We haven't always seen that with the Dolphins. So I think the Heat, what they're saying is, yes, they're also bringing back a bunch of pieces, but they're better pieces. Tyler Hero clearly has improved. Bam Adebayo clearly has improved. The preseason has given us that, and that's important as well, Big O.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've been wanting and I've been talking to you about throughout the offseason leading up to this is I want the young guys to kind of be that offensive engine throughout the season where the veterans can complement. And then once the playoff starts, then the veterans can help close games and do all those kind of things. We've kind of been seeing that in the preseason, that the young guys have been carrying the offensive load a lot more, and I like that a lot. With Hero, he has been terrific overall. Bam has been too. Duncan is steady. Strus is adding to the mix. If you get the consistent offense from those 4 young guys, you're going to keep those veterans fresh for the postseason run.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry will score when he needs to, when he has to, not when he wants to. Kyle Lowry's not arriving here. 2 things: to lead the league in scoring, to put up gaudy stats. And you know what, this is another part of it. The Heat gave, like I said, a 35-year-old player an $85 million contract. Kyle Lowry's not playing for his next contract. Kyle Lowry doesn't have to go out there and load up the numbers because when this deal's over, I'm getting another one. I think it's safe to say God bless the young middle-aged man, however you want to put it, but this is it. This is the end of gravy train time. He'll be 38 years old at the end. He certainly can continue on. Dwayne Wade certainly showed there was more at the end. There have been players who've pushed into the 40s. Maybe the Tom Brady thing will take over in the NBA. But this is it for Kyle Lowry. This is what he was setting himself up for in Toronto with the championship, with being safe with his playing time last season when his team wasn't going anywhere. So he's settled in right now, and he talks about that this is the place he's going to be. He's going to make it work. So that's sort of a heartening thing about giving an older player a contract. He's not playing for numbers. He's not playing for stats. He's not playing for a contract. So I think that'll have a payoff as well. All of that said, I still think this team, and I know you've followed me for years on this, needs another point guard. And I have said this forever. That he'd never carry in a secondary point guard. Again, my answer to this whole thing is trade KZ Okpala in his contract to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are under the NBA salary floor, send out an extra $1 million, basically tell Sam Presti, hey, you just won $1 million with your scratch-off ticket. That opens the spot for a veteran. Bring in Jeff Teague. It gives you a veteran guy. I'm not saying you're going to play him every game. I'm not saying you're going to play him every week. But when Kyle Lowry does miss time, you have that veteran presence because you know what? It's interesting. You mentioned just now several young players, but you didn't mention Gabe Vincent. And you've always been a champion. You've been a champion of the young players. I mean, this has basically been the Briante Weber show wherever I followed you across the radio, for the last 5 years or so. But that's still a question mark. And even last night when Gabe Vincent got back after missing a couple of games, really wasn't a factor. We really didn't talk about him. I think you need a backup point guard. You don't want to add that to Jimmy's plate again. And even I just posted at sunsentinel.com a story about Bam Adebayo. Now that he doesn't have to be a playmaker, he joked last night that Kyle Lowry stealing his assist, you're able to see him develop more of his offensive game. He doesn't have to start at the high post and at the elbow anymore. He can start where centers start, in the low post, and work on that. He did in the second quarter last night. I think if you had one more point guard, it would make it easier. Maybe Pat Riley listens. I know he is just sitting there at 601 Biscayne right now, smashing that like button. So hopefully he listens and lets us know.
I was talking about this yesterday, Ira, and I find it so cool that the start of the season is freaking awesome for Heat fans, because you open against Milwaukee, then you go to Indiana, and then I know Orlando isn't sexy, but they've been such a pain in the ass that it's still satisfying to beat them.
Even in the post-Fournier, time when he's been the biggest pain in the ass, and he's gone now first to the Celtics and then to the Knicks. So you have all that. And then, I know where you're leading with this also.
And at Brooklyn.
This unbelievable, intriguing game at Brooklyn and what's going on with Kyrie Irving. And I know tomorrow on the Pallet Rock City Inside the Paint, I'll get more into that with Clay Ferraro, and we'll discuss that. But that's just crazy that if you play, think about this, usually if you play a team on their home court, they have a built-in advantage, right? In other words, you say, okay, if we play Brooklyn 4 times, let's get the 2 home games at FTX Arena. We'll probably go up there and struggle. Road is hard in the NBA. It's the opposite now. It's that when you face the Nets in Brooklyn, it's without Kyrie Irving, and you're going to see more of Patty Mills. And when you face them at FTX Arena, it'll be, we think, with Kyrie Irving. It's a real strange dynamic that the Brooklyn Nets fans don't get to see the best of the Brooklyn Nets, at least while Kyrie's unvaccinated, at least while New York's rules are the same.
And here am I getting a booster shot over the weekend. How about that?
No, the more the merrier. If I can get a 4th or a 5th or whatever, you know what? I'm almost looking at my Pfizer vaccine as last call at the bar. Hey, bartender, I'll take a couple of over here before you shut it down while you're ringing that bell at the end of the day. It's crazy.
Some antibodies, baby. I want more antibodies.
And you know what? And he's also a vice president of the Players Association. And I don't understand that kind of leadership, because the Players Association, they understands what's at stake also. But I also understand another thing. Living in this beautiful state of Florida, politics plays into this also. What if Kyrie gets reclassified as a Jersey resident and as a visiting entertainer? Is there a way out around that? Just like visiting unvaccinated players can play in Madison Square Garden, can play in Barclays Center. You have that. There's a mayoral election coming up in New York. Bill de Blasio is moving on, going to try to run for governor. Who's to say the next mayor doesn't come in and tweak the rules a little bit? Look, he will carry Brooklyn if you tell him you're getting Kyrie back for home games. So you have that going on. I think Kyrie can go unvaccinated and find his way back to home games, because I think the politics of the situation will play into that as well. So I think that's going to be a factor. I think it's more short-term than anything, but it's crazy. And now you're reading the stories out of New York that Durant and Harden are going to ownership and the coaches and saying, we've got to be one or the other. We can't be these 2 different teams. Crazy times. And as always, when there's crazy times, who's right in the middle of it?
Kyrie Irving, of course.
Exactly.
That's who's always in the middle of all the crazy times. Speaking of crazy times, last night it was crazy times in Philadelphia, because Ben Simmons showed up. So is this about not losing money? What's the deal? Is this a hold-in type of thing that the NFL players were doing like X was with the Miami Dolphins? What are we reading into this?
No, X was different. I think he was classy enough that he came around. I wouldn't put him in that class. This is the James Harden approach. This is, if my absence didn't spur you to make a trade, you are going to regret my presence. And you remember what it was like with James Harden. He wasn't working out with his teammates. He was showing up late to this. He was giving a half effort, whether the jersey was tucked in too tight or not. He was
clearing out the buffet table.
Exactly. He was putting out a physique that made you wonder, you know what? That's how you get things done in today's NBA. And it's unfortunate. But the fact is, when you're out of sight, you're out of mind. And the Sixers are saying, you know what? We got Joel Embiid. We got Tobias Harris. We got Danny Green. We have some nice young players here also. We'll be fine. You can survive that. You can't when a player shows up, Jimmy Butler in that practice in Minnesota, your perfect example, and Rachel Nichols was there and he's wearing the Rolex and did his whole routine. That's what's going to happen. You're going to see those moments. It was a lot better off for Doc Rivers when Ben Simmons wasn't there. The Sixers should have done something because they needed to do something. But Daryl Morey is that one of those GMs who always tries to win the trade. One of the first lessons, and you were here from the start. The Heat's first GM, Stu Inman, when he came in here from the Portland Trail Blazers, I sat down with him and I said, you know what? I want to learn it all. Explain to me trades. And he said, you know what? You don't try to win a trade. You try to craft a trade where both teams feel good about themselves. Because when you do that, you retain your trade partners. People believe that you're a trustworthy person. You're not going to go back on your road. I'm going to get value last time, so I'll come back to you for value next time. I think Daryl Morey so much wants to try to win the trade, and this is what I don't understand, Big O. I can understand him saying, if we send Ben Simmons out, we want a quality player for a win-now team now. Hell, maybe even Kyrie Irving. But he also wants draft choices. Come on. We went through Sam Hinkie. We went through the process. The Sixers have had enough draft choices and blown enough draft choices. How does a draft choice now help Joel Embiid? How does it help Tobias Harris? How does it help a Doc Rivers who left a rebuilding Clippers to go to the Sixers because he wants to win? So I think the Sixers have to be more realistic. They can't say, hey, we want De'Aaron Fox and we want 3 first-round picks. They have to say, this is what's doable. We know Damian Lillard's not doable. We think Bradley Beal's not doable. CJ McCollum could be doable. It might be as simple as a straight-up trade and not getting the picks. But I think the Sixers need to do something or else it's going to be a disaster because Jimmy Butler showed us how much of a disaster it can be because James Harden showed us how much of a disaster it can be.
Got to tell you, man, that is one wacky story, and I don't know how it's going to end. And I would imagine that it's going to be, TNT they're saying was TNT drama, and it used to be NBA is fantastic. Yes. But we got to switch it around now, right? Because the NBA is drama now. I mean,
yeah, and again, you know what? And that's the shame. And I've spoken to players about it. This league is more than Kyrie Irving. This league is more than Ben Simmons. There are some fascinating stories in the NBA this season. There are teams that deserve attention, whether it's the move of Kyle Lowry, coming down here to the Miami Heat, whether it's other teams bolstering, whether it's what happens to Damian Lillard, like I said, or Bradley Beal, and the real typical trade rumors we're talking about, guys who are being professional. And if Damian Lillard gets moved, he's not going to sabotage the Blazers. He feels too much for that city. If Bradley Beal gets himself moved, he's not going to sabotage the Wizards. He feels too much for the city. That's the difference. We should spend more time talking about the good guys, but just like politics and just like entertainment, we don't. Just like rock and roll, we don't. Right. We talk about the bad boys because they're more fascinating. And that's a shame because I think Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons have skewed the preseason to what's going to be a really intriguing start once again to a real 82-game NBA season.
Well, what was the shirt? What was the T-shirt that Anthony Davis wore to the Pelicans practice?
Yeah.
I forgot. What was it? Was it like a Mickey Mouse shirt or something? Or
it was not casting his own team in the best light,
Yeah,
and that's
something. I forgot what it was.
And those are all the Rich Paul productions of I'm going to get my guy to my place and make it happen. Look, we know the players run the NBA. We know the agents run the NBA. But you know what? As a fan, I like watching basketball every now and then also.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, man. I can't wait for Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. And one of the things that I think these moves, while at first we were kind of taken aback a little bit because of the commitments to older players, but as time has gone on, at least I can only speak for myself, I've gotten more and more pumped up about the season and more excited about the season and more hopeful about the season because of some of the drama that's going on in other places. There's no drama here, and there are veterans here, and there's a defensive mindset now on this team. And the right things fall into place. Miami could be in the NBA Finals this year.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to see one more dress rehearsal this preseason. I really enjoyed what we saw in Houston for those who stayed up late enough last week on Thursday night. That was fun when you had Lowry and you had Butler and you had Adebayo and they played together. My thought is you have 2 exhibitions remaining. One Thursday in Atlanta. I'll join you again on the Acura Pembroke Pines report before that game. And then Friday at home, weird 6:30 start time because of the WNBA Finals after on ESPN2. I think Spo plays the young guys on Thursday because he probably has to cut some of the young guys after that. And then he gives us a nice dress rehearsal in that Celtics game. Boston will be without Jaylen Brown, but that's a rival. That always means a little bit more. There's a remix there. You have, Al Horford, you have Dennis Schroeder, you even have old friend Josh Richardson. So I think that's a game to sort of go out and play. My feeling is
it's almost a survival game. That game's almost a survival. Like it's like the 4th preseason game in the NFL. Like, we're not gonna play a lot of people here.
Yeah, but I think because the Heat have 5 days off before they play again. They have Saturday off, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they play the Bucks that Thursday. So you also want to have a certain degree of sharpness. This isn't a once a week league like the NFL. So I think it might make sense also on Friday. So I think you'll see at least one more dress rehearsal if everyone is healthy.
I can't wait for Thursday. I mean, that's going to be a lot of fun. The start of this season is going to be exciting. And you know what? Considering the NBA that we don't really take the regular season that seriously because sometimes it doesn't mean that much. For the Heat, it means a lot, actually. They don't.
Yeah, well, it does also because of the play around because that changed things. It used to be, finish top 8, you're fine. You got to be top 6 now. The regular season maybe matters less for this reason. It's crazy. 20 of the 30 teams will make the playoffs in some form, including obviously the play-in round. But if you have real visions of something, you don't want to finish 7th or 8th and play Brooklyn, assuming they'll be whole, or play Milwaukee. And you don't want to play in the 1 loss or 2 loss and out play-in round. So you're playing for top 6. And again, and we'll get into this a little bit more as we stand on the eve of the season. But Milwaukee and Brooklyn, even without Kyrie, when you have Harden, you have Durant, you're good, are going to be very good. And then, Boston's going to be intriguing. And, Philadelphia, to some extent, will be intriguing. And Atlanta has all that young talent. So if you're not careful and you let a New York or an Indiana or Chicago sneak in there, you could be in trouble. But you also have to balance the rest there, which is why to sort of bring this thing full circle, like you said at the top, if the young players like Hero and Adebayo and Robinson can help early, it'll save the other players for late. The notion's been out there of Tyler Hero being the Heat's leading scorer points per game this season might not be a bad one and might be helpful. Jimmy don't need his points. He does other stuff. Kyle Lowry doesn't need his points. He gets an assist. Bam's going to fill the box score out more than be a leading man as he still sort of works through his offense. So again, if the kids handle it early, I think the older guys can bring it home at the end.
What do you got planned for tomorrow? Inside the Paint, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Ira and Clay. What are you guys talking about?
We're going to look forward, obviously, to the last 2 exhibition games. We're also going to talk about Jimmy Butler coming back and what he brings and the dynamic of this team. We're also going to sort of see how the rotation shakes out. That have we reached a point now, one of your favorites, if the Strus is on the loose, is Max Strus a rotation player? Should he be? Is Gabe Vincent a rotation player? Should he be? And the intriguing, we didn't get into this today, we'll get into tomorrow. Caleb Martin started in place of Jimmy Butler. On one hand, he went against his twin brother, Cody Martin. That was a hell of a story last night. But you know what? The kid's good. But he's limited to 50 games this season. So do they change his 2-way contract? Will there be some maneuvering at the roster deadline? Again, tomorrow, Paddle Rack City, Inside the Paint at 9 a.m. here with Clay Ferraro. We're going to talk about the Heat have cut down day on Saturday. By 5 p.m., they have to make their move, so players clear by cut down time on Monday. Probably we know what's going to happen, but it's Pat Riley, it's Andy Ellisberg. You never truly know what's going to happen, so I think that's interesting. And all of a sudden, KZ Okpala remains out of view with his Achilles injury. We'll talk about that again tomorrow. That's a concern also. And you know what? Like you say, one of the most important skills in any sport is availability.
Yes.
Not been a lot of availability with KZ Okpala over his 3 seasons with the Heat.
Yeah, and he barely even plays. All right, anyway, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heapy. Catch him tomorrow with the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint Show. And, of course, catch him twice a week. He'll be back on Friday for the Acura Pembroke Pines.
Actually, this week on Thursday. Thursday because I'll be in Atlanta, and I'm going to get some of them good. I'm going to get some of them good chicken wings there in Atlanta that Jamal Crawford has turned us all on to. So I'm rather Lou Williams turned us all
Lou
on to in
Williams.
the bubble. Yeah.
Sweet
So
Lou,
that'll
yeah.
be interesting. And like I told my wife, I'm just going for the wings, and that's
Right.
it. And then I'll be back in my hotel room. So
Yeah.
hopefully there's no distraction in the back of my hotel room when we talk on Thursday.
Yeah, next week we'll get them back on Friday after the home opener on Thursday, which can't wait for Thursday, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ira, thank you as always, my friend. I appreciate you.
Talk to you. Thank you.
You got it. There you go. Our Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right, there we go. Thank you to Ira. Appreciate it. Jerp says booster. FTW. I don't know what FTW means. I don't know. Oh, he says, glad to hear you're getting the extra protection. Well, dude, first of all, I screwed up. I gained a bunch of weight during the whole pandemic stuff. Got totally, undisciplined like I normally have been throughout my life. I've lost the weight a bunch of times, but then I've gained it back. And I'm an idiot. And then, of course, I got 5 stents in my heart. So as long as I've got, 3 stents in one artery and 2 stents in another, I'm also susceptible to all this kind of stuff. So I've got to protect myself. And I haven't been the guy that's been in the house the whole time. Anybody that's followed this show throughout the 2020 with the pandemic, I was doing 3 and 4 live shows here on the podcast. I was out and about while most people were in the house and working from the house. I did my work from the house, but we were also, Bill and I were everywhere. We're outside all the time. But I was masked up all the time. I did all the responsible things. I've washed my hands a bunch of times during the day. I wear my mask. If I go, the other day I was at Respectable Street for the Ocean Blue concert. I had my mask on the entire time while I was in there. Which, by the way, I saw yesterday that Modern English is going to Respectable Street in West Palm Beach. I'm going to go back to Respectable Street. I got to go see Modern English. I saw them at Club Space about 3 years ago, I think it was, something like that. I want to say it was Gene Loves Jezebel, Modern English, and Berlin. Was it? Or was it The Alarm and Modern English? I forgot, but it was one of those. It was at Club Space. Somebody remind me if you went to that one. By the way, remember you can reach out on the text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. On the text line, we'll read some of the texts, your questions, comments. If you don't want to put it on the YouTube chat board, you can do that. Jeremy reminds me, by the way, FTW means F the world. Oh, okay. All right. Well, man, I'm just doing it to protect myself and protect you guys, right? Because that's what you do when you get the vaccine. You're protecting everybody else. It's not just about you. It's about everybody else. So that's, I want to do my part to help out society and help out help out humanity. In other words, last thing I want to do is get anybody sick, man. If I can avoid it as much as possible, I'm going to do it. Hawaiian Punch says, awesome NBA hour. Thanks, Big O Radio Show. My pleasure, man. Listen, I think we are creating a show every day here that the true South Florida sports fan from around the world, not just in South Florida, but other parts of Florida, other parts of the country, and other parts of the world, this is the kind of show that they can count on that is going to talk all of the local sports. And we're going to cover it all. And, as long as they're relevant, you know what I mean? I'll talk a little Marlins. I'd like to talk a lot more, but it's up to the Marlins. You know what I mean? That's Inter Miami. We talk Inter. I'd like to talk even more Inter. I love soccer. I have no problem with soccer, but you've got to do your part. in order to get this thing done. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but we're trying, man. We're trying. It's not F the world. You guys are screwing with me. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, for the win. Is that what it is? It's for the win? I don't know. Okay. I don't have all the abbreviations. I apologize. Big O, big game Sunday. Hopefully a win. What are your go-to wings at Sports Grill? Teriyaki and special grilled. Special grilled for me are my go-to wings. Those are those are the wings that I always get when I get wings. Now, when I'm doing the show, I never eat wings because I can't be eating wings while I'm doing a radio show. It has to be something quick and easy for me to eat. So usually, if I'm not on the air, then I'll get wings. But if I'm doing the show, and you're sitting there in front of the table, me and Sean, I just don't want to have all my fingers all greasy and all that. So I'll get either a wrap, I'll get some boneless wings because those are quick and easy and not dirty either at the same time, some fries and stuff like that. But the special grilled wings are my favorite, dude. I can eat those things every single day. Special grilled wings are so good, man. Beast Fest says if we lose this Sunday, we have some serious problems from trading our players 2 years ago and drafting all 9, which we haven't seen our team at least play hard. Wow. Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. But I don't I'm not see, I don't want to build the apocalypse when it hasn't happened yet. Okay. So let me just enjoy the week, enjoy the preparation, look forward to Tua playing, which is what I think all of us as Dolphin fans should do. Look forward to Tua playing. Let's hope for a really good outing. Okay. If it happens to be a bad one, then we'll deal with it. But I'm going to have the mindset this week. I want to prepare myself for the Dolphins playing a better game, for Tua having a good performance, for the line to play with a lot of urgency to protect the young man and give them time and do their damn job. That's what I'm going to try to set myself up for a proper mindset to enjoy the game. I'm not going to go in there with a negative mindset and thinking about what's the worst thing that can happen every time they touch the ball. Oh, what if Gaskins fumbles here? What if Tua gets injured again? What if the offensive line can't block? What if this, that? I don't want to, I don't like living my life in the negative. I've never been that person. I've always been the person that I try to be as positive as I can in my life. I get it with the Dolphins. It's been a lot of negative. You know what I mean? I want as much as possible for Flo and Greer to succeed. I really want those guys to succeed. So I cannot set myself up and start thinking about negativity. One, life is too short. 2, I told you already, I didn't do any good to myself by gaining a bunch of weight. And I don't do any good with the 5 stents in my heart to get all worked up and start frustrating myself and thinking about all the stuff that's gone wrong and that it will continue to get wrong. I got to hope that it gets better. And hopefully on Sunday, I get that feeling that they meet my expectations, that it got better, that they won, that Tua performed well. Okay, wow, I can feel a little better this week. I can exhale. That's what I want to do this week, sir. You know what I mean? I apologize to those of you out there that want me to go all piss and vinegar and, give the owner hell, give the GM hell, give the coach hell, and all that stuff. Look, we can talk about the issues. Yes, there are issues. I'm not happy with the performance of the team. I'm not happy with the losing. I'm not happy the way they lose. I'm not happy that some of the young guys aren't performing. I get all of that, man. It's all the obvious stuff. It's like one guy last week. Well, my Bucks are going to take care of your Dolphins. Wow, you really went out on a limb there. You know what I mean? It's like I knew that was going to happen. I was just hoping there'd be a respectable performance. I just didn't get that. But, I'm going to build myself up to hoping that this is going to be a better week. That's why, I just can't sit here and, pull the liver out of my body and just slice it up and start eating it, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. Big O, address Gruden. Why don't we do that? Let's address Gruden. We'll do that on the other side to start hour number 2 next.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, aka the Big O, he covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Canesware at Miami Fanware in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at canesware.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canesware, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, we are ready to go. It's hour number 2 of the program. By the way, some of the things that some of you come up with, like Big D on the text line there on YouTube says, people saying Greer put Tua in last year. D, I am not positive, but I remember Flo saying after a game last year, he decided to put Tua in to try to motivate the team. Whoever did it was wrong. First of all, Big D, if anybody tells you that Greer or the owner are deciding anything on who's playing and who's not playing, they're effing morons. Those are the kind of people that you should never talk football ever again with. Do you know why? Those are the idiots, and you are an idiot. Those are the idiots, the effing morons, that the facts are Flo makes all the decisions on the roster. Who to start, who not. He went against Chan Gailey last year, and Chan Gailey forgot more offense than Flo will ever know. Okay, Flo made those decisions. Ross never makes any decisions. He doesn't tell you who to draft. He doesn't tell you who to start. He doesn't tell you who to bench. Greer doesn't tell you who to start and who to bench. None of that. It's all on Flo. But this is what we have in our society. We have a load of people that the facts are the facts, but they will create whatever narrative they want. The facts are there, but they're going to create anything they want. They'll tell you that the vaccine has things that are tracing you. Meanwhile, vaccine's been out for almost a year now. Nobody's found anything like that. There's no proof. But they'll keep telling you that. You know, oh, they're trying to kill us. That's right, because every government in the world has gotten together and said, let's create a vaccine to kill our own people. You know, doesn't matter. They'll create their own facts. The QAnon idiots, there's no proof that Tom Hanks is eating babies, but that's all right. They'll create their own facts, and they'll create their own narrative. That's this world, dude. That's this world. So you got a load of idiots that keep thinking that Ross is making all the calls when he doesn't make any calls. You got all the idiots thinking, oh, no, Chris Greer is in charge of all personnel decisions. No, he's not. He defers to his coach at times. And he's certainly not making any decisions telling you, start Tua. No, that's on Flo. It's really amazing, dude. But that's the world we live in. The facts are the facts, but you want to create your own narrative and your own facts. And you don't want to believe anything. Whatever, dude. All right. As for Gruden, the NFL is it's a real piece of work. The NFL doesn't really care about human beings. That's why Jordan Reed will get 87 chances and he'll be allowed to get concussed 15 to 20 times, and they won't care, and they'll keep giving the kid the job, and he'll keep getting injured, and he'll keep getting concussed, and they just don't care. And the Ray Rice situation, come on, man. So they thought nobody was ever going to see that video. And when the video came to light, then they had to backtrack from their 2-game suspension. And now comes this whole thing. And Mark Davis had all the emails before they were all released. He had them. And yet he allowed him to coach, and he allowed him to do everything else and apologize and all that. And then once all the other emails came out, it was over. And he had to fire him, the guy that he loves and he wants there and all that. And to Gruden's, at least credit, which I don't want to give him too much credit, but at least he wasn't ignorant enough to fight it. It's all in, nobody took you out of context. Nobody fudged anything. These are your emails. You're a disgusting human being. You're a sexist, a homophobe, a racist. I mean, Gruden is Ken. We have our Kens and Karens in the world, right? And John Gruden is that dude. That's what he acted like. He acted like a freaking Ken. He should actually change his name from John to Ken. And this is a guy that can no longer ever be in any kind of position again on a football team, on a broadcast. No one's going to be associated with that guy because, I mean, you're going to have to repair your reputation with every type of individual in the world. You're going to have to meet with gay groups and black groups. You're going to have to meet with women's groups. I mean, this guy just lit everybody on fire. And I'm not going to sit here and read the crap that he spewed. You can go ahead and read it yourself. It's disgusting. But what's even more disgusting is that it's happening on corporate letter. And it's bouncing around to different people. And yet, he's there. He's working. Because a lot of those people that probably hired him or have been around him may think the same thing. They just aren't stupid enough to put it down on writing. So what they did with Gruden is the only thing they should have done is fire his ass. I mean, Omar Kelly had a great tweet where he had a guy like with an iron on his face, which, if you have an iron on your face, that's going to, hurt quite a bit. And the caption that he put was, John Gruden was coaching a gay player, which is true because Nassib is on his team. And yet, here's this guy who's a freaking homophobe. I mean, this guy just trashing Goodell, trashing the Players Association president, Maurice Smith. I mean, John Gruden lit everybody on fire. He got what he deserves. That's it. Look, man, we know these people exist. Hey, our world has changed for the better. We are more accepting. Look, I tell you guys this all the time. The complainers are really loud. Doesn't necessarily mean they're the majority. And I don't believe racism is anywhere even close to a majority in this country. I think it's a major minority in this country, to be honest with you. It's the only way we vote in black presidents. It's the only way we vote in a black vice president. It's the only way we vote in gays as senators and councilmen and governors. And I'm sure eventually we'll have a president that will be gay, whether it's a man or a woman. We've made a ton of progress. Okay? We have, because most of us, I think, or a lot of us are accepting. But we have a group of individuals, I don't know what it is, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% in this country, and they're flat out racist. We haven't weeded everybody out yet. We're not as racist as we were 40 years ago. We're not as racist as we were 70 years ago. We're certainly not as racist as we were 100 and 200 years ago. We have made progress. Is it enough for minorities? No. Is it enough for women? No. Is it enough for gays? No. But we have made progress. But those individuals that want to stop us from making progress, they are the minority. We are winning this race, okay? This race war. We are winning it. But unfortunately, those that are against it are loud. Most of us would not attack the Capitol, but there's a few that would. They're the minority, and they're loud and sometimes disgusting. That's just the way it is. And we'll get there eventually. But people like John Gruden exist in all parts of life. The good thing is, here's where I have more hope for our future, is that when I look at the Generation Z of the worlds and I look at millennials, they are more accepting of each other than prior generations. Okay? I can pick on millennials and Generation Zs for a lot of things that I may disagree with, some of their laziness and, but the one thing that I will give those last two generations more credit than any of the prior generations is that there is less racism and there's more acceptance of each other and less bias in those generations. And so the progress that we have made, I think, is part of our overall, society. And I think we'll continue to make that progress as the older generations that are racist and biased, as they die out and fade away, the younger generations take over, then I think you'll see where the world will be more accepting. We're always going to have some kind of bias. Always. It's always going to exist from now to the end of time. But I truly believe it's less and less because you look around and there's more and more of equality, I believe. But we just haven't gotten there yet, unfortunately. And we still have to deal with a ton of it. And it sucks. And people like Chucky need to be made examples. That's it. I don't feel sorry for him. You know why? It's 7 years of disgusting behavior in those emails. And that means that's his behavior his entire life. And that's, and he can say all he wants. He had a statement, and to be fair, I'll read the statement for you again. I think I talked about this yesterday, right? That sorry doesn't cover everything. And sometimes people think that sorry can cover everything. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. There are certain things you don't come back from. And that one right there is one that you don't come back from if you're John Gruden. He says, I have resigned as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction. Thank you to all the players, coaches, staff, and fans of Raider Nation. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt anyone. That's not what your emails sounded like. Your emails were gross, dude. You were as disgusting as you could possibly be to all kinds of individuals from all walks of life. So to me, again, I've told you guys this over and over again. Sorry doesn't cover everything. And he needs to pay that price. So if you left $60 million on the table, it is what it is. Big D says, did you call me an idiot? I tried to tell some of the people blaming Greer that I heard Flo say after the first game. I didn't call you an idiot. Listen to the point. I said that if anybody tells you Greer is making a call to start anybody, Tua or anybody else, you're an idiot. So, Big D, the question you must ask yourself, are you saying Greer made the call? Then you have your answer. If you're not saying that Greer made the call and you're trying to defend it, explain it, disagree with it, then you got no problems. But if you think Greer made the call, which is not what I picked up from your text, you said, I believe, I don't have to just say you said, I could just look it up right here because it says people are saying Greer put Tua in the last year. I'm not positive, but I remember Flo saying after game last year he decided to put Tua in to try to motivate the team. Whoever did, it was wrong. Doesn't sound like you said it there. You said people. So I'm telling you, those people, whoever they are, and if anybody thinks, and I threw in the owner, Ross and Greer, they don't tell Flo who to start, who to bench. They don't tell him who to cut. None of that. He does all that. So once again, if you said Greer or Ross, because I'm going to throw Ross in there, are making any starting calls, then you're a freaking idiot. I didn't just say idiot, by the way, Big D. Let's be clear here. I really want to say the real F word, but I'm going to just go with freaking idiot. But you know what I mean when I say the real F word. So now are we clear now? So it's up to you now. You will decide if you're an idiot or not. Not me. You. Let's see. Only certain people get forgiveness now. Interesting how we pick and choose, isn't it? Well, it's not we, Steven. It's me. Sorry. That's the way I am, my friend. It's not we. I'm telling you, me. All right? You sexually assault somebody, don't tell me sorry. You killed somebody, don't tell me you're sorry. You spew hate, don't tell me you're sorry. You abuse children or dogs, don't tell me you're sorry. Or animals, I'm sorry. Let me put it that way. You abuse women, don't tell me you're sorry. Are we clear on that? I never said we, I said me. Me. My personal rule in life is that I will forgive you if you're late. I will forgive you if you forget this. I will forgive you if you forget that. I forgive you if you said something accidentally that you didn't mean. I'm not going to forgive you if you stole my life savings. I'm not going to forgive you if you ran my kid over. I'm not going to forgive you if you ran my dog over. I'm not going to forgive you if you hurt anybody in my family. Are we clear on that? There is no forgiveness on my end. Okay? I'm not a, extreme religious person that, wants to forgive everybody for everything. No, that's not me, dude. Because there is no forgiveness for those kind of things in my eyes. Because those are acts you don't commit. Period. End of story. That's the way I look at it, Stephen. So I never said we. I always say me. That's the way I handle my world. That's all I'm saying. In our soft ass world, they want you to be forgiven for everything. Sorry. What was it? Some engineer and his wife were trying to sell nuclear secrets to another country. There's no forgiveness. You are a traitor. You are a piece of shit to our country. Put them in jail for the rest of their lives. They can rot. He and his wife can rot in jail for the rest of their lives. How do you like that? There's no forgiveness. Certain things, You just don't get it in my eyes. That's the way I am, man. I'm sorry. You know, I'm a little I'm old school in that sense. And I'm happy. I'm proud to be old school the way I am. It's just the way it is. See, Ahmed says, forgive me, Big O. I was late to the show. You are forgiven, sir. See, that's something you can forgive. I forgot to smash the like button today. I'm doing it tomorrow. I forgive you for that. I got no problem with that. See, that's all good. The world is a nasty, hateful place. Not all of us are nasty and hateful. Lots of us have love and support each other and care for each other. There's a lot of good people in this world. That's the thing. The problem is, like, when you watch the news, we don't show enough of the good stuff because we get bored with it. So we're going to show all the controversial stuff and all the hate, and we're going to show the shootings and all that. But we're not going to show the firemen that help people and save lives. And we're not going to show the policemen that are helping people, and we're not going to show the hardworking citizens that are at a food bank, or we're not going to show the guy that got out of his car to help a woman who just had a car accident, and he's helping her, out of the car and calling 911 and assisting her. We don't do any of that. We don't do enough of that, and there's plenty of that going on in this world, but we focus in on the people fighting at Burger King, and we focus in on, the fights in a football game. That's our world. We want to on the destruction, this flooding here, the volcano there, the tornado over here. This is what we want. We want to see a family that has just lost their home, and they're standing there crying because their entire neighborhood has been destroyed and they've lost everything. That's what we want to focus in on. But we never focus in on the group of individuals that just finished building a house for underprivileged people that need it, and they're hurting right now. We don't focus enough on that. And we got plenty of people doing good things in our world. But that doesn't get ratings. Because our intentions as viewers is to look at all the controversial shit. That's what we want to do. But there's a lot of good going on in this world. It's just the sad part, man. That's the reality. Let's see. Martin Leiden says, lots of good people. Look at the money raised for charity. DCC, Fins Nation, UK will raise $10,000 Sunday for charity by good people, good Dolphins people, peace and love. Boom. Martin, you're an effing stud, bro. There you go. So those are good things. That there's plenty of good stuff that goes on. We just don't talk about it. That's all, because it's boring. We don't talk about the Dolphins visiting a children's hospital. We don't talk about the Marlins going to a food bank. We don't mention that the Panthers are helping hurricane relief efforts in Haiti. We don't talk about those kind of things. Why? Because it'll put your ass to sleep. You're never going to download my show. You don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about the controversy on the O-line. You want to hear about Ben Simmons bitching and complaining. You want to hear about John Gruden, the racist sumbitch that he is. You want to hear about is Flo going to get fired? Is Greer going to get fired? Why doesn't Ross sell the team? What the hell's going on with the Marlins? Why don't they spend any cash? Inter Miami's an absolute disaster. This is what you want to talk about. It's just the way it is. It's the way we're programmed, unfortunately. But don't tell me there isn't any good. Problem is the bad gets magnified. There's lots of good. There's a lot of good people. I know a lot of good people in my life. I deal with a lot of good people every day on this show. Most of you are good people. Most of you contribute to the show. We agree, we can disagree, all that kind of stuff. Very few times we get a couple of idiots. And how are those idiots on the chat board, right? They try to get loud. They try to start posting 87 times in a minute because they want to get all the attention, and then they want to go slam people and all that stuff. And then what do? Boom. We bat their ass and get them out of there. But most of you are good. It's just those bad people that sneak into our chat board, they get loud, don't they? And everybody notices them. Just magnify that for television. We want to find Brian Laundrie. By the way, did you notice what they're doing to the Laundrie family? People are throwing laundry baskets on their yard. So they go out and they have to collect the baskets and they take them in. I saw that yesterday. I got to say, it's funny, because they're called laundry, and so they throw the baskets. So it's kind of funny, man. I'm just watching them. They're picking up like 7 laundry baskets on their lawn, and then they're going inside. I was like, and those people are going to get in trouble, by the way. I mean, nobody's acted more dirty than Brian's parents. And I just get the feeling they've been searching in that whole thing, and he's not even anywhere. I probably believe that whole Appalachian story that would make sense. Buy us time, or buy me time. You guys buy me time. Tell them that I'm there. And while they're wasting their time searching, I disappear into the Appalachian Mountains and I'm gone. Big O, I'm a Fins fan, but I moved to Jacksonville. I love the Fins, but both teams suck. Yes, they do, Andres. Yes, they do, sir. Whatever you do in Jacksonville, don't shake hands with Urban Meyer. You don't know where those fingers have been. That's all I got to say to you, Andres. Let's see. This dude is jaded. Is it me you're saying I'm jaded? We focus on Cecil the Diesel Collins climbing through a window. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. If Tua throws for 300-plus yards and 3 TDs this week in a victory, fans will quickly turn to optimism. I hope so, Scummy. I hope so. I'd like to see some optimism for the Dolphins. We just need optimism as a Dolphin base. We were feeling it, man. For the first 2 years, we're feeling it, and it's kind of come apart here. It has come apart here in these 5 games. I can actually forgive Saban more than I can forgive Cam Cameron. I mean, you can forgive both guys. It's not like they killed anybody or they hurt anybody. They just didn't satisfy us as coaches. That's all. I mean, I love you, Big O. Just tough, bro. Life sometimes tough. No, life is tough every day, my friend. George says, sadly, good is boring and doesn't sell in today's evil, drama-driven society. He says, Tua will have to put up 50 to give us a chance to win with this defense. Yeah, but I mean, it's not like the Jags can score that many points. Derek says, Big O, I bet you were really pissed when the news broke of the Parkland shooter a few years ago. No forgiveness for those type of people. No. And the scumbag was just in court the other day for an attack of a officer that an officer in the prison, and he attacked him. And so they were trying to talk to the jury like, okay, can you separate the two things? What he did in Parkland and this. And there were jurors there that were like, no, I can't separate the two. I got to be honest. I wouldn't be able to separate the two. I don't know if you guys saw that, but like, no way I could separate the two. I mean, that scumbag deserves the electric chair. You know what? He deserves like an incredibly slow kill. Is what that guy deserves. A kill that takes days, where he is suffering. I know it's not what we do because that's inhumane, but the suffering that he's made many families, after that tragedy, whatever suffering he goes through cannot equal what the loved ones of all those victims are going through. Ken Rosa says, Big O, I love the show, and I appreciate you reading out fans' comments on the daily. Makes the show more enjoyable. Well, we actually connect with fans here, my friends. That's the difference. Or we connect with family here, because I consider all of you out there, one form or another of our family. And don't forget, family, smash the like button. Very important. Big O has me ready to go volunteer with that speech from earlier. Nothing wrong with volunteering and helping out a little bit, man. There's nothing wrong with that. If you got the time, I say do it. However you can contribute to our society to make it better, do it, man. Can you name any player that hasn't regressed this year? I thought Robert Hunt was moved to guard because of all-pro potential there. Name any player that hasn't regressed this year. You know what? Gaskins has not regressed. They just don't use his ass. You know what I mean? I can't blame Gaskin. I blame them. I can't blame Gesicki. They don't use his ass. So there's a couple of guys that I can say they haven't regressed. It's just, and Hunt hasn't done a bad job. Dieter, by the way, had progressed because he wasn't playing at all. So the fact that he ended up starting at center, he progressed, actually. He made some progress there overall. I mean, there's a couple guys out there that haven't regressed. There's a couple things that I can point at and say, but there aren't a ton of positives. I get it. But there's a couple guys out there that haven't been too bad. And they've done all right. NorCal says, I'm Big O's stoner cousin. Way to go, cuz. Big O, is Kyrie banned? I don't know, but I mean that's one dude. I can't take him too. I've had enough of Kyrie. Big O, can you ask Manny Navarro if he knows of changes behind the scenes that he has not reported yet? All right, we'll ask at 12:30 when he joins us. Big O, our season is not lost. We have 8 or 9 more winnable games. Go Tua. I'm with you, Hawaii Dolphin. I'm with you, man. I refuse to, become this negative, pissed off person about the season. Now, I'm not thinking playoffs anymore. But I am thinking now, okay, try to play the best 12 games of the season that you can from here on out. Try to develop the line in Tua. Let's see by the end of the year, let's feel good about Tua because he's played well. Let's feel good about at least 2 of the linemen, right? Because I told you they're not going to hit on all 5. But at least 2, a perfect world 3, that you feel like, okay, these guys are good. We can build on them. Let's go get ourselves 2 to 3 seasoned veterans, and let's load up this line, and let's protect this kid, and let's go rock and roll. So to me, that's kind of the focus now this season. Play as well as you can. Get back to playing respectable football. Get back to playing smart football. Improve this line. Build off of what you did last week. Let's see if Tua now has a chance to grow and play well and make us feel good about the future so we don't question it, because I still feel, I'm sorry, but I still feel that Tua can be one hell of a quarterback in this league. But he needs the help. You've got to protect him. He doesn't have the body to take the pounding, dude. Got to help the guy. So to me, that's how I am going to look at the rest of this season. And then I'm hoping that by the end of the year, I feel good about Tua, and then I can feel better about the future. And now at least you solve the damn quarterback position. 90 miles from Cuba says Nets announced that he is not allowed to practice with the team until he's fully in line with the team's requirements and protocol. It's official, Big O. Well, of course, because if he's not vaccinated, then he can get other, he has a higher, he's at a higher risk of, one, catching the virus, and two, spreading the virus. Look, those of us that are vaccinated or boosted, we can still catch it and we can still pass it on. But those of us that are vaccinated and boosted, we have a chance of fighting it off and not catching it and not passing it on. But if you're not vaccinated, you have a much higher risk of catching it, passing it on, and you have a much higher risk of ending up in the hospital or dying. Whereas if you're vaccinated and boosted, there's a good chance you will not die. There's a great chance you will not be in the hospital. It's pretty simple, man. I mean, it's kind of, elementary. Some of you out there want to make it more complicated than it really is, and it's really not that complicated. But that's fine. Feels like our offensive weapons are made of glass. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of injuries. Yeah, Devontae Parker and Will Fuller and Tua, and I'm with you. And then Dieter also got injured, the center. So yeah, it's been a rough go on offense, man. I can't disagree with all of you out there. I really can't. It's tough. Hunt is a guard, but I would try a little at right tackle. Leave Brissett in for the experiment. I'm with you. I would move Hunt to right tackle. See, here's my real problem with Tua back this week. Jesse Davis. Look, man, I respect a lot of the people that cover the team. I love my guy Omar, obviously, and I know Omar is a big Jesse Davis guy. And I know people talk Jesse Davis up a lot because he's a good dude. He's a pro's pro. He's always ready, never complains, can play 87 positions on the line, even though there's only a few of them, but he plays 87 of them. I don't know if you know that. It's kind of like in Ndamukong Suh. He was brought here to patch up like 8 different gaps. There aren't 8 different gaps, but he was here for that. So I get it. We can talk it all up. But the reality, in my opinion, is that Jesse Davis is a backup, a sixth man. That's what he's supposed to be. And if he's your starter, then you're missing a guy on your line, at least one guy. And I'm assuming that you solved the other 4 problems. What I'm trying to tell you is Jesse Davis is not a starter. He's an excellent backup. He's the guy that comes in and fills in and helps you get by for the game, maybe an extra week, and then that you got to get your guy back. But if you have him every day starting, and he's the guy that injured Tua, and now Tua comes back this Sunday, and you're putting Jesse Davis back in the mix, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. And so, following up on what you said, Seti, I would put him at right tackle, Robert Hunt, because athletically, I think he's better than Jesse Davis. And I think overall, he has more upside than Jesse Davis. I feel Jesse Davis has already seen his upside, and it's not going to get any better. So, yes, and these are the concerns I even talked to Omar about yesterday, that, okay, great, you're going to move Eichenberg to left tackle, and you're going to move Jackson to right tackle, left guard. But if Eichenberg is your best tackle, why didn't you keep him on the right side? Because Tua is a left-handed quarterback. So, yeah, I have my concerns about that. Marco Rocks sends in a little love on the super chat. He says, love the show, brother. Keep speaking the truth. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And don't forget, besides the super chat, you can also send in a donation through Cash App or Venmo. And you can put in a question on Cash App or Venmo. We will answer that question on the air. So if you want to send it in, you can send it in, and it's Cash Big O Show is the address on Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. Guillermo Arauz, thank you, sir. He sent in a little love on Venmo. Appreciate you. And he says to keep up the great work. That is very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. Very, very nice. There you go. Cash App or Venmo, send it in. Cash Big O Show. Radically says what they're doing with Jesse Davis' knee injury this year is what they did to Kinley against the Broncos. Kinley's foot prevented him from moving properly, so he got beat. Can't argue. If he is banged up and you're playing a guy that isn't necessarily, really gifted, and you're also putting him at risk because he's at injury, which then puts your quarterback at risk. And now he's out for a few weeks with effed up ribs. And now he's going to come back and going to have to play still hurt because you got Jesse at right tackle. Ray Edwards says, please, Big O, talk about Luther Campbell giving Manny Diaz the business this morning on Tobin and Leroy. Very eye-opening. I did not hear it. I have no idea what you're talking about. So I can't respond to something that I didn't hear and I don't know. And, dude, what do I need Luther Campbell to tell me anything? I've been talking about Manny Diaz since right after the end of the first season with him here. I was already off the bandwagon. I saw what we got already. I knew that guy could not put together a team. So what the hell do I need Luther Campbell telling me anything, bro? Give me a break. So appreciate it, but and by the way, to be honest with you, I don't necessarily use Luther Campbell as a reference for anything. Okay? Maybe if I needed to talk about 80s rap, I'll bring him on, but anything else, I don't really need him at all. I don't really search out for his opinions, to be quite frank. Okay? And I certainly don't need his opinion on Manny Diaz. I don't need anybody's opinion on Manny Diaz. I know what I see in Manny Diaz. And I certainly don't see a head coach. Not at this level. He's a coordinator at best. And I'm starting to think that we were kind of fooled, too. And he may not be as good a coordinator as people think he is, too. Okay? We got kind of fooled. They played well. They had a couple guys in there and all the rah-rah stuff and all that. Be careful. Be careful. Lee Michael Morrison says, why does it seem that our assistant coaches aren't up to snuff? We used to have guys like Arnsberger, Westhoff, Stevens. Now we have jabronis. Wasn't Flores the choice because he had connections? No, Lee. He was a choice because they thought he could be a good head coach. But I don't think, they all sit down and give you a plan. But it's going to be all young coaches have trouble getting assistant coaches. That's the key for them. And you've got to try to bring as much experience as possible to help you. And Flo has failed in that area. And the worst part is that the lack of success this year hurts you in trying to recruit that next year, because good coaches are going to say, well, I'm not going there. They're on the hot seat. I'm going to have to move my family again a year from now. Nah. I'll take this job here. This guy just signed. I'm sure they'll give him at least 3 or 4 years. I'll be there. So it's kind of the issue on that. Miami Mike says, let's do a little more Chuck Wagon on the Big O Show. Maybe you can make a good player that doesn't show up on game day your Chuck Wagon player of the week. LOL. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, the Chuck Wagon play. But the problem is, Miami Mike, last couple of weeks we've been picking a lot of players. So many players, they don't even fit on the damn wagon. The wagon wouldn't be able to move with all the Dolphins that we would put on it. That's the sad part of it. Domi says, Big O, forgive my ignorance, But if I already smashed the like button when I started listening about 3 weeks ago, do I smash it every time I come on the chat? Yes. Yes. Smash it every time you come on. Every time you download the podcast, smash the like button. Yes. Now, when you subscribe, you only have to hit it once. The notification bell, you only have to hit it once. But the like button, every time. Every video you watch, like button. Every day you watch, like button. Yes. Yeah, it doesn't count at one time. It counts it every time. So, yes. The other ones, no. Subscription and notification bell, you only have to hit those once. But the like button, every single time you're watching. Okay? Or listening to the podcast. Those of you listening to the podcast. So, there you go. James Payne, natural immunity stronger than the vaccine. Yeah, no, of course. That's why the people that are naturally immune are ending up in the hospital and dying, sir. And the people that are vaccinated are the ones that are not ending up in the hospital. Again, facts are the facts, but some want to spin it because they've got politics stuck right up their rear end. But go ahead. Knock yourself out, dude. Make it political and not make it about humanity. Go ahead. I love that. The people unvaccinated are safer than the people vaccinated. Yeah, no, they were like that for polio. And they were like that for the Spanish flu, sir. And they were like that for the measles also. Don't get vaccinated. Go ahead. Play Russian roulette. You should walk around with a 6-shooter. Just spin it. No bullets in the chamber. Just rah. Hey, I'm up today. Rah. Yeah, of course. Everybody not vaccinated is always better. Love that kind of thinking. It's freaking phenomenal, man. It's just so awesome to just, watch these people just, no, I'd rather just take a chance and kill myself. Yeah, why not? And in the process, let me just try to kill other people too. No, there's no 90 miles from Cuba. Don't start with that. It has nothing to do with science. It has to do everything with politics. That's all. Nothing with science. Okay? And there's Mike. Not true. If you have COVID, then you are better protected than those that are vaccinated. The antibodies run out, dude. Okay? And then you're susceptible to it. So if you're fortunate enough to survive it the first time, you never know. But go ahead, bro. I mean, reason however you guys want to reason. The facts are those that are unvaccinated are the ones that are dying more than anybody else. But go ahead and spin it however you want. All right? Just go ahead, dude. Hospitals, those that are in the hospital, 99% of them are the unvaccinated folks. Usually 100% in most hospitals. There's a couple every once in a while. Oh, man. No. I'm not saying you shouldn't get the vaccine. No, Mike, there is no decision to be made. You should get the vaccine. If you don't want to, that's your right. Go ahead. But you're risking it. And you're putting others at risk. And those are the facts. Again, nothing different than the Spanish flu. Nothing different than the measles. Nothing different than swine. Nothing different than anything else. Just like the people take the cold flu vaccine. Same thing. You can still get the flu, but the vaccine will protect you and help you a little bit in fighting it off. And if you get it, it's not going to run you down the same way. It's kind of why people do it. But, whatever you guys want to believe, you can go ahead and believe whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Facts don't matter in today's world. People create their own facts and their own narratives. It's kind of what, some of you do. Honestly, people who don't wear a mask around me inside public places or near me is a big FU to me. They don't care about my health or others. Can't stand that. I wear my mask everywhere still. But you care about others. You worry about yourself and you care about others. Rye says, natural immunity is developed, Big O. It's common knowledge, Big O. You don't know what you're saying. Stop it. You're misinformed. So talk to me about all those people that aren't vaccinated and dying in the hospital. What happened to their natural immunity? Explain, Rye. Explain why 99% to 100% of the people that have ended up in the ICU lately are all unvaccinated. What's up with the natural immunity, my man? I love how you guys come up with bullshit that didn't exist for all the other things that we've needed vaccines for over the last couple hundred years. It's so awesome. It's so awesome. You know? And it's funny to watch these folks, especially the older ones, when you knew you had to have your measles shot. You couldn't go to school without a measles shot because we had a real problem with that, just like polio. For a long, long time. It took decades to eliminate polio with a vaccine. Can you imagine without a vaccine? Now, resources were different in those days compared to now. Now the resources, we can get it to everybody, at least in countries that have the resources. Unfortunately, there are some countries around the world that don't have the resources. That's the sad part. And we've done a good job as a country of donating a lot of vaccines to help out other countries, which I'm really proud of that they've done that to kind of help out. Let's see. If Ross had to fire someone, who would go first, Greer or Flores? And do you believe Flores should be able to pick his players instead of Greer? Hell no, Marco. The bigger problem is Flores. I don't believe Greer is the problem. I believe Flores is the problem right now. He's the bigger problem. He's got to figure it out. He's got to do for a lack of a better comparison, he's got to maybe do a little John Gruden, take a step back. Not complete John Gruden, like lead the organization, but maybe take a step back and say, you know, Chris, you make more of the personnel decision. I'll get out of it. Because when I'm involved, we end up with Jacoby Brissett. And when I'm involved, we end up with 4 young linemen and a journeyman to protect an injury-prone quarterback. So, yeah. Let's see. What else do we have? Strains of vaccines are being banned in other countries that are legal here. Hey, Gods, listen, brother, you can create all the BS you want, dude. Bottom line is over 2 billion people have taken it, and it's just fine, and it's working. You guys can create all you want. We live in this country. I don't care what they're doing in Uzbekistan, guy. All right? If you're worried about what they're doing in Sweden or anywhere else, you can go ahead. I worry about what's going on here in this country, our country, which we're way ahead of everybody else. But again, you guys can make any excuses up to make yourselves feel better and to believe the BS you're lying to yourselves about natural immunity and all that. You guys want to keep lying to yourselves? You can go ahead and keep lying to yourselves. Go ahead and do that, bro. There's a nice large faction of you that are dying because of it. That's all. It's fine. It's all good. You guys want to die? Go ahead. It's your choice. Put yourself at risk. You know, whatever you want to believe, man, go ahead. Just do it. Knock yourselves out. Lie to yourselves, which is like the most amazing thing in the world. Either you're lying to yourselves or you're really dumb believing your Facebook posts. People who are against abortions don't like pro-choice, but yet some of those choose not to get vaccinated. Funny how that works. No, I mean, look at players. They'll stick their faces in some woman's muff that they've never met, but yet they won't get a vaccine. You know, it's like, really, dude? Like, you're sticking your pecker in every hole out there. You've got 8 kids with 6, baby mamas. You're risking all kinds of diseases and all kinds of stuff, but you're not going to get the vaccine. You know, it's like, hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. All right, let's go to hour number 3. Let's get back to sports and stop with this vaccine stuff because it's boring and it's lame as hell, especially your weak ass excuses and the crap that some of you clowns are believing on Facebook because it ain't coming from the New England Journal of Medicine. That's for sure. Hour number 3 is next.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Lando, aka the Big O, he covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, our number 3 man of the program. Nice job by the Heat last night, 4-0 in the preseason. Got a couple games left. I just can't wait for Thursday. By the way, next Thursday. Next Thursday, because I keep saying Thursday, and that's next Thursday for the Heat when they start the season on the 21st. And I got to tell you, the Yurtseven kid, he had 7 minutes yesterday, had 8 points and 8 rebounds. He's one of those guys, or Yurtseven, right? I think it's Yurtseven. He's one of those guys that's really intriguing. It's like, wow, did they find another guy? And we all complain about draft picks, but they go and find Duncan Robinson, right? And years ago, they found UD, you know what I mean? So they do find other guys that are out there that can help them. And maybe Strus is on the loose now, and he's going to be the guy you develop. And then Yurtseven now, I mean, it's interesting how they're able to find guys off the draft side of it. You know, Isaac Austin was a guy that they brought in and got him in shape and got him to play well. And they've been able to do things like that throughout the history of the Pat Riley era with the Miami Heat. So last night, They got it done. So they will next week they will start the NBA regular season, which I cannot wait. Ravens beat the Colts. Hell of a game, man. That was a fun game to watch. 31-25. Lamar Jackson was on yesterday. 442 yards and 4 touchdowns. Plus, he had 14 rushes for 62 yards too in the process. Now we're talking about a kid that in the 4 games prior to this had 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So he wasn't lighting it up. So yesterday he was able to put it all together. Andrews is, man, he's the top safety valve for him. He's one of those guys. While the passing game isn't going to be something scary with the Ravens on a week in and week out basis, but at least you know that Andrews is one of those guys that's going to get a lot of targets, and he did. And then obviously Brown also had 2 touchdowns at 125 yards. Wentz wasn't too bad. He threw for 402 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday. And Jonathan Taylor was one of those guys I knew was talented, but he scared the crap out of me because of his injury history in school. And he has been able to stay healthy, and he put on a show, especially at 76-yard catch. He pulled away from everybody, dude. That was really, really nice. Obviously, Raiders have parted ways with John Gruden. We talked a little bit about the sexist, the racist, and the homophobe who is now out. Boston, by the way, eliminated the Tampa Bay Rays yesterday, 3-1 in the series. The Rays and the A's, I've been talking about this for years. They do an excellent job of scouting and finding players and all of that. The one thing that they're going to need is money. It's amazing, and I know the A's didn't make the playoffs this year, but the Rays also are a team that pretty much, like the A's, they make the playoffs a lot, and they scare the crap out of teams a lot. I still wonder if those two teams who have clearly good baseball people, if they actually added a wallet to it, how good would those clubs be? How many titles can Tampa and the A's have if they actually spent some money? That was the thing about Theo Epstein. Theo was like, yeah, I kind of like that Moneyball stuff, but I'm going to add money to the Moneyball. And then the rest is history. So in theory, some of the Moneyball stuff works, obviously, but you still have to supplement it with something else. If not, you're waiting for the perfect season like the Kansas City Royals a few years back, or the 03 Marlins, where you're like hoping that all your young guys have career years. Because you look at the 03 Marlins, and what'd you have? Redmond, Pierre, and Pudge, and Urbina. You didn't really have, you weren't counting on a ton of veterans. It was more about a lot of the young guys that came through for you. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's possible. It's already been proven that it can happen. You can win a title with a whole bunch of young guys and journeymen and things like that, and sprinkle in a veteran or two, which the Marlins and the Royals did. But it's so hard to catch that lightning in a bottle. And it seems to me like the A's and the Rays keep trying to catch that lightning in a bottle. And it's a shame because you're really close. If you actually spent money, you might have a chance at winning a couple of titles. How screwed up is that? All right, remember, you can reach out to us on the text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the program, and many, many ways. And, of course, you want to make a donation, you can make a donation to Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. It's Don P. Crypto. Question: I'm using Coinbase. Do you use the Vault? I don't use Coinbase, my man. I use Crypto.com. I think Crypto.com is superior to Coinbase. I just do. I like everything that they do. They have staking, which Coinbase does not. You know what my suggestion to you would be, Don P? I'm not a financial advisor. Okay? I'm just a dude. I'm just a sports talk show host that loves crypto, okay? But as a sports talk show host that loves crypto, this is what I would do. I would open an account at crypto.com. I would transfer all my Coinbase over to crypto.com. And if you have your Bitcoin, stake it, earn 4.5% on that money while you're sitting, your Bitcoin's just sitting there on Coinbase, not earning any interest. You can stake it on crypto.com and get 4.5%. They pay you back in Bitcoin. So you increase your holdings of Bitcoin. Stake your Ethereum. You get 5.5% back on your Ethereum. Plus, crypto.com has more coins for sale or for investment than Coinbase does too. Crypto.com has its own credit card. No service charges whatsoever. So you can actually convert your crypto right away, send it into your card if you need to ring anything up and you want to use it. It's a great card. Crypto.com also has its own coin, which I have invested in a big time way. I'm a big believer of their coin, and I think it's going to go up. Crypto.com is a much better cryptocurrency exchange than Coinbase. Okay? And Don, you know what I'll do? I'm going to retweet on my Twitter my link for crypto.com. And for those of you that want to get into it, you could get $25 for free. And I'm not going to BS you. They'll send me $25 too also if you sign up. But I'm telling you, you want to go to crypto.com, you want to stake your stuff there, you want to get their credit card because their credit card is awesome. You could get depends on which level you get of the card, you can get free Netflix and Spotify and stuff like that. There's a bunch of perks that come with the card that is pretty awesome. I got the red one, which that means I got $400 of Crow that I ended up staking, and then obviously picking up the what's it called, the interest off of that. And again, you get more Crow, so you end up building your holdings. So if I'm you, I would go to crypto.com. Here it is. I am going to retweet it right now. So there you go. It's on my Twitter at Big O Show. So there you go, my friend. That's what I would do if I'm you. I would get away from Coinbase as fast as possible. Okay? He says, I have a crypto.com account set up. Well, then you're there already. Do it. Transfer all your stuff over and stake it. And earn. Because you're not selling your Ethereum in the next couple of months. If you're smart, you're not selling your Bitcoin unless you need for family emergency, you should not sell your Bitcoin ever. Just let it sit there and build. And that's it. So there depends on what coins you have. Like Shiba, I would not stake. Unless you have 3, 4, 500 million Shiba. If you have that, then okay, keep 150 active on your wallet, and then the rest you can stake so you can keep getting more Shiba and build it up. So something like that. But Shiba's one that you want to keep fluid because if it explodes, you want to be able to unload right away because that's not one that's going to hold. Ethereum's going to hold. Bitcoin's going to hold. Matic's going to hold. Cardano's going to hold. They're going to go up and stay up. They might fluctuate a little bit, but they're going to go up and up and up and up. It's not Shiba. You don't know. Shiba, it could go up, 8,000% and then then go right back down 5,000%. And you had the moment to unload it there at the 8,000 peak. So Shiba's probably one you don't want to stake unless you have a lot of Shiba. And that way you keep enough that if it hits big, you can retire with that and then wait till the other one gets, unstaked. And then you can, remember, once you stake it, you can't touch it. Can't move it, you can't reach it. It's gone. Because they're using it for lending purposes. You're going to get it back when the 3 months are done. but you're also going to get back the interest too. And you'll see the interest in your wallet. They'll put it in your wallet. So you'll see it. That's why I like Liam at right tackle to keep learning, because he's better than Davis than Tua's blind side. Yeah, Jeremiah, that's the issue there, buddy. I don't know how to feel about the Gruden situation, Zachary says. He made the right decision, but what he said from 2011, maybe he had changed since then. Zachary, look at the age he is now at this point. This is who he is, dude. We can say that about a kid that's 15. Let's not lie to ourselves. A grown-ass man that's already in his 50s and his 60s and 70s, they're not changing. They're not changing. They are who they are. If they're racist, they're racist. If they're cheap, they're cheap. If they're, whatever characteristic you have at that point in your life, and you're 50, 60, 70, there's no changing at that point. I'm sorry. Just is what it is. I would love to tell you, oh, yeah, no. You're not changing, dude. Urban Meyer, what you saw in that bar, is what he's been his whole life, dude. And you think now, the next time he'll just try to be more coy about it, and he'll make sure that he's not in public the next time. But he's gotten away with it so much throughout his life, and it's never been public, that he even thought he could get away with it in public. The idiot. They don't change. They are who they are. If they're mean and angry, they're going to stay mean and angry. If they're hyper and fun, that's what they'll be at their 50s and 60s and 70s. They're not going to. People, once you get to that age, you're not changing, man. You are what you are. That's it. Like when I told that gentleman, we, and I said, no, it's me. I'm the one that's not as forgiving as some others out there. That's my style. It's the way I carry myself. And I'm not changing. Just like when we have people, don't talk about this, talk about that instead. And I lose it usually, because you're not going to tell me what to do. I've been at this for 31 years. I don't need anybody to tell me how to do this job. I know how to do this job. And I talk about whatever I want to talk about. Sometimes you will be uncomfortable with what I talk about. Just kind of the way it is. So you're not changing people, man. Especially at that. You might change a 15-year-old. You might change a 22-year-old. You're not changing somebody that's 55, 65, 75 years old. You're not changing. They're pretty much dead set in their ways. And they got here already at that point. They're going to continue down whatever road they are. Carlos says, Lincoln Riley has been so great in loading the Sooners with good QBs. Baker, Kyler Murray, Ross, please contact Lincoln Riley, LOL. Neither one has won anything yet, right, in the NFL? Last time I checked. Right, Carlos? What? I must have missed it there. What has Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray won yet? They've had some moments, but they haven't crossed that threshold like, oh yeah, no, they're franchise studs. Not one of them. Kyler's an impressive talent. Baker has his ups and downs, how he plays. Decent, but neither one is great, and neither one I'm ready to label a franchise guy yet. They haven't gotten there yet. It's kind of, and they're more into their careers than Justin Herbert is. And I keep, and I'm not one that says, oh, yeah, Justin looks great. Physically, he's got a beautiful arm. I mean, he athletically, all that. He's put up some numbers, but he's still not at the point where, okay, yeah, you've arrived. Not there yet. He's had a couple of nice games lately. But it before I give you the, okay, you're the guy, I need to see those you're the guy moments. And I haven't seen enough of that from Kyler and from Baker Mayfield. They have the potential, but they haven't crossed that threshold yet. So I'm not sure when I start seeing that the quarterbacks of whoever anywhere in the NFL then translate to players that are leading their teams to playoff games and are winning big games and are consistently going to the playoffs and winning double-digit games, then I can see you're a franchise guy. But those guys have had some moments, but they haven't crossed that moment yet that we say, okay, yeah, franchise guys. They still have their ups and downs. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think Baker should be outside and agree. We need a middle linebacker. I wanted Parsons in the draft. Micah is a good player, dude. He's a really good player. Micah Parsons. He looks like he's going to be still early in his career, but he has looked really good. Rosendo says, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. Good afternoon, Big O. You are correct. You are correct. That we cannot argue, my friends. That we cannot argue. Can I give you a funny soundbite? And this is going to be a painful soundbite for some of you out there. So I want you to prepare in Dolphin Nation. Because some of you, you've lost your minds about this. I'm not there yet because, again, I'm not there with Tua or Herbert or anything else yet. I need to see still a lot more before I make a determination on anybody yet. But Jimmy Johnson was doing the Fox show, and he threw out a comment about Justin Herbert. And I got to tell you something. I laughed my ass off. And I'm going to explain to you why I laughed my ass off when I saw Jimmy Johnson say this, okay? And the initial statement, you really can't say anything bad about the initial statement, but I'm going to talk about the person saying the statement in Jimmy Johnson. So let's hear Jimmy Johnson on Fox on Justin Herbert.
It should be a high-scoring game. The Chargers, they've got a star quarterback, Justin Herbert. 6 touchdown passes in the red zone the last couple of weeks. And in fact, if I was drafting in the NFL today, of all the players, my number one pick would be Justin Herbert. He's that big a star. Over Mahomes? Over Mahomes. Oh, my gosh. Now, the other thing should.
Okay, so Jimmy goes on to say he drafted Justin Herbert even over Mahomes. Now, I find so much humor in all of this. Now, there's humor with a lot of pain, okay? This is a segment where I want you to sit down if you can. If you're driving, I want you to pull over and sit down. This is going to be a painful segment for you. And because you have suffered it, I have suffered it, and it's just memories that hurt us a lot. And they're done by this guy. And so I love how Jimmy Johnson comes out and, the whole John Gruden thing, like he was Mr. Quarterback Camp. He never developed a quarterback. Jimmy Johnson, I can question his QB knowledge as it is. Okay. First of all, let's have some fun here. This is the guy that allowed Vinny Testaverde to continue to pass the ball after the Sugar Bowl where he had 4 interceptions against Tennessee. And then the following year in the Fiesta Bowl, Alonzo Highsmith is getting 6 yards a carry. All he had to do was make the head coach decision of saying, Just keep handing the ball off. Our defense will shut down Penn State, which they did, and the offense will run them over because Alonso's getting 6 yards a carry. He'll have 250 yards and several touchdowns. We'll win comfortably. But no, Jimmy Johnson kept thinking that passing the ball with a choking quarterback would be a good idea, so he allowed Vinny Testaverde to choke away another bowl game by throwing away 5 interceptions. That's 9 interceptions by his quarterback in 2 years. This is the guy talking about quarterbacks that didn't want Troy Aikman. This is the guy that had to be convinced in the draft room about Troy Aikman. Gil Brandt had to stand up on the table, scream at the highest point of his lungs, and say, we have to draft Troy Aikman. And half the draft department picked up the balls and said, Jimmy, this guy's the real deal. You got to get him. But Jimmy didn't like Troy Aikman. The whole broken leg at Oklahoma and then goes to UCLA, all that, didn't want him. So the knuckleheaded Jimmy then said, all right, I'll defer to you guys. We'll take Aikman. And then in the supplemental draft, takes Steve Walsh. And God bless him, my favorite quarterback of all time. Love Steve Walsh. Was never going to be a stud in the NFL. Love Steve Walsh. Love Ken Dorsey. Never going to be a stud in the NFL. The good Lord did not bless them with the ability to be a stud in the NFL. That's just, they had this talent to be great in college, not in the NFL. So he ends up with egg on his face because Troy Aikman was the real deal, and then he was forced to trade away Steve Walsh to the Chicago Bears. I'm not done. This is the same man that took away all the audibles from Dan Marino because he thought that would be good for a quarterback. This is the same man that traded Irving Fryer away, a Pro Bowl receiver who went on to have 2 Pro Bowl seasons right after he left Miami for the Eagles because he thought that was good for his quarterback. And this is the same man that got rid of Byers and Kirby because he thought that would be good for his quarterback. Oh, and this is the man that traded for Jim Druckenmiller and drafted John Dutton and thought you were going to be special. Now, Justin Herbert is everybody's darling. He looks great. He looks fantastic. I get all of that. I'm just saying, the messenger
Would be a high-scoring game. The Chargers, they've got a star quarterback, Justin Herbert. 6 touchdown passes in the red zone the last couple of weeks. And in fact, if I was drafting in the NFL today, of all the players, my number 1 pick would be Justin Herbert. He's that big a star. Over Mahomes. Oh, my.
Many stupid decisions over the years at quarterback. I like the fact that Jimmy Johnson's consistent at stupid decisions at quarterback. That's all right. Oh, Lordy. But no, he was great in Dallas. Jimmy quit on the Dolphins. He will always be a quitter and gutless in my mind as a Dolphin fan. Yeah, he did quit. He quit even that whole year. He quit. He didn't even go to the Senior Bowl. He let Wani go to the Senior Bowl. Jimmy came here and forced Marino to hand that ball off to run. He also took away Marino's ability to change the plays. Yes, that's I just talked about. I find it funny, man. It's like, those of us that know the history, and some of you lived it, but you didn't really realize all the things I've said. How many of you? Be honest now. Those of you right now listening on the podcast at any time, day or night, those of you watching right now on the YouTube channel, be honest. Did you realize everything in Jimmy Johnson's quarterback life that I just mentioned? Did you think of, did you really think about all of those things and put it together? I'm wondering. Or is this like the first time you hear And now you get to like really put it together and you say, wow, yeah, Jimmy, pretty much sucked at assessing a quarterback. And this has nothing to do with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert might end up in the Hall of Fame, dude. He might really become a stud. I just want to laugh at a guy that when it comes to quarterbacks, brother, I don't want to hear one effing word you've got to say about quarterbacks. Okay? I don't want to know anything about quarterbacks from Jimmy Johnson. I don't give a shit what he's won. I don't care what he did in Dallas. I don't care that he only underachieved with one title at the University of Miami. All I know is, yeah, go to the Hall of Fame. You did a great job. That's fantastic. It's awesome. Your tree sucked, by the way, in the NFL. But outside of that, when it comes to quarterbacks, I don't want Jimmy Johnson's advice in one goddamn thing about quarterbacks. Okay? I don't want to know anything. When he's talking about quarterbacks, I'd rather him talk about chocolate ice cream. I'd rather him talk about fishing because he probably knows a hell of a lot more about fishing than he does about quarterbacks. So appreciate the entertainment, Jimmy, because I know we got plenty of people that, they got their heads up his ass and all that, and they're worried about saying anything. Oh, my God, he's perfect, and he's not perfect. He's far from it. But I get it. He's beloved. He won the national title for the U and all that, but whatever. Give me a break. Let's see. I remember Jimmy went to Dallas, but never knew about not wanting to draft Aikman. Oh, yeah. He didn't want to draft Aikman. That's why he took Steve Walsh in the supplemental draft. That's the amazing part. All right, let's talk a little Hurricanes. Manny Navarro and our Canesware Miami Hurricanes report next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Canesware at Miami Fanware in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at canesware.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canesware, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canesware Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
We are ready to rock. There he is, the legend that is Manny Navarro. Follow him on Twitter, and that's at Manny_Navarro. How you doing, my man? You feeling good?
Feeling good, man. Just pulled over here at Tropical Park, man, so we could do this without any internet problems. So I'm feeling good. Okay. I'm ready to roll.
Okay, I like it. When you're done here, you're going to go in and play a little 5v5 soccer. Is that what you're going to do there at Tropical Park?
Well, they still got the basketball courts here, right? So maybe I should go out there and play a little 5-on-5. I was never really that good at soccer, but I could play some hoops. Okay, there you go. So a little hoops action there. I used to play softball there all the time. We what was that? What was our name? The something brew. Oh man, it had something to do with beer. Okay. The brew crew. The brew crew. Yes. There you go. Of course, there was beer flowing before, during, and after the game. Beer league softball is the best. Man.
Yeah, bro. Come on. I mean, it's like when I go golfing. I got a cigar in one hand and I got a beer, and then once in a while I got to figure out how to put it down so I can hit the club, get the club and hit the ball and spray it somewhere. Like I really give a shit where the ball goes. I just give me back my beer, my cigar, and I'll just have fun for the rest of the day. So anyway, all right. So what isn't fun is De'Aaron King. Unfortunately,
opting or not opting for surgery. I'm not sure because they put out that he opted for surgery, and then De'Aaron King retweeted opted ? So
Yeah.
what the hell's going on, dude?
Yeah. So here's the deal. I wrote opted because obviously, if you're gonna have surgery, you got to be okay with it, right? You got to say, okay, I'm gonna have surgery. Somewhere in all of that, in my little tweet or my headline, people started to get this idea that like either Manny forced him to have surgery or that De'Aaron could have returned to play. I don't know. I know De'Aaron messaged me directly. It was like, dude, can you please change the headline? Can you do something to help me here? Because people think that I like quit on the team, that I finally decided I'm just going to have surgery and not play the rest of the year. And I'm like, okay, I'll clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up here because I don't want there to be any misinterpretation. So this is the truth. The truth is the dude went and got a bunch of second opinions, not only here in South Florida, but back home in Houston, to look at his shoulder, to see if he could play in any way, shape, or form. They told him multiple times, doctors told him multiple times, if you're going to play football again, period, you need to have surgery. So that's what happened. That's the deal. Point blank. Manny Diaz didn't tell any lies. De'Aaron King didn't tell any lies. And for whatever reason, that word opt just created a lot of confusion. And you know, Big O, there's a lot of people who just want Manny Diaz fired. So any way they could use the English language to say, hey, Manny Diaz is screwing this situation up, that's kind of what my impression of what happened yesterday was. But the bottom line is the dude opted not to have surgery right away because he wanted to get second opinions. And in the end, he had no choice but to have surgery. So that's what happened. I hope that clears it up. I don't know.
And anybody that goes after De'Aaron King, you're a first-class asshole. I mean, seriously. I mean,
right.
That's one young man we don't question. Okay, that's a really good human being right there. Okay, so whatever was done for what was best for the human being. It's not about your team and they quit on your team and all that other stuff. If anything, what we have to do, Manny, is feel bad for De'Aaron because I feel terrible that he gave up his eligibility and his body to this coach and this program. That's really what I feel bad for when it comes to De'Aaron King, because De'Aaron King gave you his all, and I don't feel like everybody else met him halfway.
Well, I think you're right. And I think the other aspect is, I think part of it is the coaching staff put so much on his shoulders, right? Like, this is De'Aaron's team. It's like that adage in the NBA, right? Like, how much should your superstar carry? And I feel like in a lot of ways, everything was geared towards him, right? Like, he's got to be the one to bail us out. And a lot of the leadership, the responsibility of the way the team played emotionally fell on his shoulders. And it's not that he didn't want it. He wanted it. But I think at some point as a coach, you have to start to develop other guys, right? You have to start to develop other players so that when you're in a situation like this where you lose your star player, you have somebody else to go to. And I don't know that even happened, even with spring football, right? Even with Jake Garcia and Tyler Van Dyke getting all the snaps, guys started to get used to them running the offense. But when De'Aaron came back, I was like, nope, he's the guy. Like, everything is on him and how De'Aaron plays. And I really thought, Alabama had obviously a great game plan. They've got great players. But, even the second game against Appalachian State and Michigan State, it's like if De'Aaron wasn't doing something superhuman, Miami had no chance to win. And I think, at some point, like, you have to do something as a coach to be like, there's too much falling on this guy's shoulders. And from that regard is what I wrote, and what my opinion was, is they're putting too much on him to save this team. And we'll see now over these next 7 games, right? Like, can they adjust to this being quote unquote Tyler Van Dyke's team? Can they build the offense around Tyler Van Dyke and what they've got, the healthy players that they do have? I know most Hurricanes fans have already checked out. Like, they don't care about the rest of the season, right? They're just like, when does Manny Diaz get fired? But the bottom line is these players, like, you're not going to go into the transfer portal and bring in 60 new guys, right? Like, these are the guys that are going to be here for the next few years. So it's important. It's important that Tyler Van Dyke and Jake Garcia, whenever he gets back, that we start to see something from them, because this is the future at Miami. The De'Aaron King era is over, and this is the future of Miami. And let's see what Rhett Lashley can do with these guys, because until Manny Diaz gets fired, until Rhett Lashley gets fired, until there's changes here, this is what you got. And if you're a Hurricanes fan, you still got to root for these guys. You still got to root for these players to do something.
Definitely. No, I'm definitely rooting for them and hoping for the best. Do you know of any changes that are going to be made heading into this week now that they've had so much time off? Usually these are when changes are made.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think offensive line-wise, they're basically down to 6 guys, right? They started the year with 9 or 10. Corey Gaynor's now out for the year. You know, so you're going to have Ja'Kai Clark at center. To me, that changes the dynamic quite a bit, because even though Corey Gaynor is, you know, a guy with a lot of starts, he didn't play very well. And Ja'Kai Clark was always sort of seen as the center of the future. I think they could play better. I think they might do a better job picking up the blitz. I think they might do a better job with Ja'Kai under center, adjusting. So from an offensive line perspective, I think that the musical chairs game is over. I think Jared Williams is going to be your right tackle the rest of the year. And I think Justice Oluwaseun, who was kind of the first guy off the bench against Alabama when they pulled DJ Scaife out of the lineup and started moving guys around, I think he is the 6th man now. And so you have a 5-man line. You got Devon Donaldson out there. Hey, it's your job, big boy. Show up every week and play. You got DJ Scaife at right guard, and then you got Zion at left tackle. As long as nobody gets injured, I'm assuming that moving forward, this is going to be their 5 guys, and they're going to just hope that they build the right kind of chemistry. I thought in the second half against Virginia, they played a lot better than they did in the first half as a line. Now, is that going to carry over against the rest of the ACC? We'll see. But they did score 21 points in the second half of that game. They did move the football, and they had a chance to win. They just missed the kick. So against this weak-ass ACC, they might be able to score some points. We'll see.
Well, let's hope so, dude. I mean, that would be fantastic if they're I mean, we need to start seeing some positive, you know, signs. And you just mentioned it now. It's a new era now with the two young QBs. And by the way, how far is Garcia away from competing? Because Tyler also has an opportunity to lock this thing down too, right? In a way. Does he?
Yeah, he's got an open lane. And what's interesting is, yeah, he's got an open lane right now because Jake Garcia is not coming back till mid-November, most likely.
Wow.
Till the very end of the season. And, you know, it should, yeah, because he had to have ankle surgery. And it was a kind of a freak thing. Because even after the game, he wasn't feeling bad. The next day is when it blew up on him. And they realized, like, oh, God, you got to have surgery on this if you want to come back this year. So he did. He's already, you know, gone through the surgery, and he's trying to make sure he can get back and try to get some action at the end of this year, potentially the last couple of regular season games and maybe a bowl game if Miami makes it there. But I was told this, Bruce Feldman and I, that, you know, I think internally there's a lot of people at Miami that look at Jake Garcia and say he could be the starter next year. And Tyler Van Dyke, this is a golden opportunity who, you know, had Jake Garcia been healthy, I'm not sure he gets all this playing time that he's going to get. You know, I think they would have seriously given Jake Garcia a strong look and let him maybe start a game or two here with De'Aaron King out. And so now that's not a hindrance anymore. He doesn't have that pressure on him. He knows that they're not going to play, you know, Peyton Matoka or Ryan Risk unless he gets hurt. So in some ways, maybe that settles him down a little bit, lets him get a little bit more comfortable. He's not worried about the guy, you know, behind him taking the job. So that's the interesting part for me going forward is how does Tyler Van Dyke settle into that, you know, leadership type role? You know, he's not a very vocal guy. He's a very quiet guy. Jake Garcia is more of the vocal, you know, quarterback sort of personality. And so it'll be interesting what happens next spring and going forward after the season. But for right now, this is an opportunity for Tyler Van Dyke to showcase himself. And look, the schedule, let's face it, it's very winnable for this team at Miami. It's not like it's some impossible schedule. Pittsburgh's the only team right now on the schedule, and NC State, where you say, okay, right now they're playing a lot better than Miami, but you win this game on the road at North Carolina, you exercise some demons, you get some confidence, you're coming home to play NC State. Like, this thing can turn around quickly if Tyler Van Dyke and the offense get going. And so this is a perfect opportunity in my mind for him to say, hey, yeah, Jake Garcia might have a bigger personality than I do, but I can help this team win. Stick with me. And if they struggle and he isn't that guy, then I think it totally opens the door for Garcia once the spring comes around to take the job from him.
Okay. All right. Because I'm thinking, cynical me, if he goes and plays well this year, and then they still say, well, we're going to open up the competition. He's like, F that, dude. I played well. Transfer portal. I'm out of here. I showcased my skills. People know I can play. Somebody will take me. You know what I mean? That's just the cynical in me thinking, like, if this kid balls out, but then at the end of the year they tell him, well, we're going to open up the competition. You didn't win the job. You know how these kids are. I don't know how Van Dyke is. He might say, oh no, screw that, dude. I earned it. I played well. Why is it? No, I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Any chance of that?
Well, look, I think, I think any kid can do that. Oh, I mean, this is just the world we live in now, where the transfer portal is the perfect free agency, right? I mean, anybody can just take off and say, well, I'm not happy that I didn't solidify a job, right? Like, look, I think there's a reason why all of a sudden you're hearing the coaches talk so much about Leonard Taylor, right? The defensive tackle. Oh, we got him 21 snaps against Virginia. He's going to start playing more. Well, why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think some freshman who played 21 snaps at defensive tackle is all of a sudden a point of contention? Because the coaches know, if I don't play this guy, this 5-star recruit, even if he says all the right things to the media, which is, I know I'm not playing because I don't know the playbook yet. Like, they know I can't afford to lose this guy. And so there is some pandering and some thought process to, depth charts, like the depth charts that they put out. Like, part of that is making sure that messages are delivered. Hey, you're a priority to us. We're going to play you. Those type of things.
All right. As we try to finish out this season and hopefully more of a positive, are you hearing anything? I don't think they're going to fire either of these guys when it's all said and done. Knowing them, they'll probably hang on and give them one more year to kind of redeem themselves. But you're much closer than we are to the program. What are you hearing?
Well, listen, I haven't heard anybody yet say Blake James is going to be fired. I've heard everybody say Manny Diaz could potentially be fired if this team, this whole thing runs away from him. Obviously the fans are saying get rid of Blake James and get rid of Manny Diaz, but internally I haven't heard anybody say, oh, Blake James is definitely going to be out and this is the guy who's going to, like, I don't sense that there's any plan yet of how they're going to make changes to this. And until there's plans in place, like, hey, this is the coach we want, this is the athletic director that we want, like, until we get to that point, it's hard to say that either of them are going to lose their jobs. So it just is.
Right. Yeah. That's tough. All right. Good stuff as always, my brother.
There's no alternatives. Like, when there's somebody in, when there's some, I was just gonna say, when there's guys in waiting, it's a different deal. When you start to hear names, it's a different deal. Right now, there's no sort of, hey, this is the guy that they're targeting. Once I hear that, it might be different.
So no Luke Fickell.
I don't imagine that scenario happening. Think why would these guys at these G5 schools like Cincinnati, like, why would they leave?
He's going to get if anything, he'll get a monster offer from a bigger school is what, if anything, Luke Fickell is going to get, what he's done.
He's not going to, not for Miami.
No, of course not.
Right.
No,
not for Miami.
I was joking. I know the answer. I just, just wanted to throw it out there. Have a little fun with it. It's all good. All right, we'll talk on Friday. We'll preview the game. Appreciate it as always, my brother. Thank you for taking some time here on the Canesware Miami Hurricanes Report.
Good talking
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Canesware at Miami Fanware in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at canesware.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canesware, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right, we are back. I was just looking at this storyline coming across the newswire, and it's not sports, but it just says roughly 50 major coastal cities will need to implement unprecedented adaptations measures to prevent rising seas from swallowing their most popular areas, a new study shows. We're not going to be able to stop the water. I just love these people that live in fantasy land. You know, we have done such a crappy job of leaving this world to our kids. I feel terrible for my daughter because she is going to have to deal with just crap that's coming up. We have so mistreated all of this. Miami, the coast is going to disappear. I don't even know how people even buy buildings or build them right on the water nowadays, knowing that 50 years from now it's going to be underwater. I guess those people aren't going to be around, so they don't care, or they probably think they're going to sell it in the next 10 years and get out before it actually gets really bad. But yeah, I do not look forward to. I won't be around. But I feel bad for our kids and our kids' kids. Oh, wow. Do I feel bad? If the administration is not going to pony up for a real coaching staff, what's the point in watching a mediocre product anymore? I'm done. Hey, Troy, there's going to be a lot of you like that. I mean, I'm going to watch the Canes anyways and root for the Canes. I'm just going to have lower expectations now. It's my hometown team, man. What am I going to do? I'm a hometown guy. So I'm going to root for them, and I'm going to watch them like I did before they were good. I used to watch them on Saturdays. I've been around long enough to watch them when they weren't that good, when they were just, a little football team that if they won 7 or 8 games, it was a decent season, that kind of stuff. So this is not something I haven't experienced before. You know what I mean? Not that I want to experience it, but this is where we're at right now. And I don't know if in 5 or 10 years you get a new president that changes their minds and they want to put more emphasis on football. But Frank can say whatever he wants. The proof is there. You're not committed enough to a championship. Those are the facts. Folks, don't forget to smash the like button. It is very important you smash the like button there. Always appreciate it. Sean Stanley running the show, doing excellent work as always. Appreciate all of you out there. Brooklyn Rob says, living out in Kendall, your grandkids will inherit beachfront property one day. Yeah, I know, huh? It's crazy. Yep. Scary, man. The Keys will not exist. Keys will be gone. How do you stop the waters from covering up the Keys? You can't. There's no way you're going to do it. And everything that goes on in Brickell and downtown Miami and Miami Beach, are you kidding me? They flood when there's, half an inch of rain. Our sewers are already pumping all the water back out again. Kidding me, man? There's no way. All those people that live around Las Olas and all that, all those houses are going to be underwater. It's sad, but there's no way we're going to stop that. You don't stop water. Sorry. What are you going to do? Build like dams, like a long ass dam all along the eastern coast? There's no way you can do that, unfortunately. I would love it, but I stopped watching Canes years ago. They've been putting trash on the field since 2005 or so. It's true. It's true. You're right about that. And by the way, Brooklyn Rob, man, Stellar has not moved enough, man. Very disappointed in that because I know you're big on Stellar. I still think it's good, and I think it'll move up, but it looks like it's going to be a really slow mover compared to some other coins that are probably going to move a lot faster. What else do we have here? Lena Pooty says the naval maps going back to the 50s showed Charlotte, North Carolina having water up to it. In California, most of Florida underwater. Yeah. Most of Florida is going to be underwater. There's no doubt about that. I was, believe it or not, I had this conversation with my daughter the other day, and she's thinking that she will have to, if she buys a home, she's thinking she has to buy it in another state and away from the coast. That's how young people are thinking, because she's 20. So in her lifetime is when all this is going to happen. That's sad that she can't think of living on the water. I mean, she could go rent an apartment on the beach for a couple of years, but my point is she can't actually invest in something that she wants to pay and own on the shore. How crazy is that? So I actually had that conversation, and she's the one that brought it up, not me. I didn't bring it up. She's the one that said, I'm thinking, Dad, that I may have to move out of state in order to get a home down the line because I can't buy anything now. Eventually, it'll be underwater. And she's right. Scary, right? A 20-year-old has to think that way because the landscape of everything is going to change in the world. Oh, and I know some of you don't believe in climate change. Of course not. It's not going to happen. I know. I get it. It's all lies. Climate change. It's all lies. Did you guys see Chipper Jones at the baseball game the other day? The Braves and the Brewers were playing. Chipper was a fan. So he's sitting in the stands, and a pop fly is coming Chipper Jones' way.
Popped up, foul ground as Anderson and Freeman both going over late to kind of react to his start. That ends up in the seats.
And did you see who dropped that ball?
Is that Chipper?
That is Chipper Jones, who just dropped the pop fly.
It's a Hall of Famer right there.
Chipper's with his kid. So he gets up and he's trying to catch the ball, and boom.
That's an E5.
Tries to catch it.
Poor Larry. That's going to be all over the place today.
That's an E5.
That is.
That was good. And he had a sense of humor about it. Hey, man, what are you going to do? At the same time, see, Chipper is at a point in his life now where he's also thinking of not getting hurt. See, when you're a player, you're playing all out, and if you get hurt, you get hurt. And so you'll dive, you'll do whatever to make sure you stay in front of that ball. But Chipper wasn't going to completely sell out on that one, as you can tell. And he was going to catch it, but he was trying to cover and try to protect himself from getting hit. You know what I mean? That was kind of funny. I like it. Oh, Lordy. Lena says thousands of others who aren't thinking pragmatically. I mean, it's the only way. That's very pragmatic approach of your daughter, and unfortunately, there are thousands of others who aren't thinking pragmatically. That's the host. Yeah, Lena. Although, I mean, listen, kids are kids, so it's going to take them a little while to kind of figure that out. But yeah, my daughter's kind of, I give her credit that she thinks things through sometimes. Not all the time, because we're all human beings. But she does a really good job overall, man. She's a smart kid. Brooklyn Rob says, we destroyed this planet and people still have their heads in the sand. The climate change is fake news. Yeah, it is. It is. It's fake news. It's not happening. Icebergs the size of Germany are not melting into the ocean. It is not true. It is not true whatsoever. Oh, man. And by the way, I do feel bad for De'Aaron King that he ended up giving up his body and his eligibility to that coach and this team. And they didn't do enough. Alex says, my daughter is 8, so I got to talk to her about it. Yeah, but don't talk to her now about it, Alex. She doesn't need to hear about that for years to come, dude. Let her be a kid and let her enjoy life. My kid's, a little out of college now, and she's going to go back to college. She's actually going to take a year off. But my daughter is so ahead that she's, kind of like, she's taking some online classes on the side, but she's in a different part of her life now, in her early 20s. So she's got to start thinking about those kind of things. But yeah, your daughter doesn't have to think about that yet. Let her be a kid. Let her enjoy life. Let her not have to worry about those kind of things, Jeremy Dorsett says, outside of Greg Olson at UM football and Gabby Sanchez, UM baseball, who has UM produced? Brad Kaya and Duke Johnson, a bust in the pros for UM football. Are you talking about like lately? I mean, yeah, I know, because you're talking about we can't go with Calais Campbell, who made a couple big plays last night. You're talking about lately newer UM players that are out there. It's a lot less that are making impacts. Yes. And they're lesser players, the ones that are out there. The ones that are really good that are left are old already at this point, and they're almost at the end of their careers, and it's almost done. But yeah, you're right. It's lately they're not sending anything special into the draft. It was nice to see Njoku the other day, break out and get a long one, but he has never lived up to the hype that he came out with. You know what I mean? We're almost hoping that maybe Jalen Phillips becomes one of those guys that actually plays at a really high level. And having said all that, he's kind of like he's a borrowed UM player, because he's really a UCLA player that ended up transferring here. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of it's almost with the whole transfer portal thing, it kind of changes the way you view players. You know what I mean? But I can't, Jeremy, I can't tell you, oh my God, they're producing a ton of players now out of the draft and they're dominating like they used to in the past. No, it's few and far between now, unfortunately. So, Big O just got to tune in. Did you talk about Omar Yurtsevin? It seems like the Heat found a diamond in the rough. I have talked about him. I was impressed how in 7 minutes he had 8 points and 8 rebounds last night. And yes, I did talk about him. I like him a lot. I talked about how they found Duncan years ago. They found UD. You know what I mean? And so, and who knows? It looks like the Struce is loose also. Maybe a guy that can help him out. And they've done this over the years. And Yurtsevin looks like a guy that they found something there. It's interesting. It's pretty cool. And look, the one thing that has changed, well, many things have changed over time in basketball, but draft-wise, because some of these kids don't go to school or go to school for only a year, it's hard to scout them and get a good feel for all these draft picks. Back in the day, 15, 20, 30 years ago, you got guys playing for 4 years on average, some for 3, but mostly for 4. So you were able to get a good feel for a player, and you saw him a lot. So you were able to scout him. Now it's harder to scout. So I think guys are falling through the cracks more than ever. So if you're a good scouting staff, you're going to find some players that slip through the cracks, and they could end up becoming good players for you and helping you out, i.e. Duncan Robinson, i.e. Udonis Haslem. that kind of stuff. So Yurtsevin and even Strus to a certain extent could be those kind of cats. And things like Ike Austin I talked about also. These are things too that you've got to, okay, reclamation projects that can help you out. Keon Dooling struggling, you bring him in, you get his confidence back, you get him in a groove, and boom, there you go. That's happened for many, many years here with the Miami Heat and a slew of players over the years. And I'm with you. I think Yurtsevin is one of those guys that it looks like the Heat found the guy. I really like him a lot. Thomas says, shaking my head. What could have been if Shula could have convinced Wayne to go with Marty and Marino with a real running back, not the clown draft guru Jimmy got us? What might have been? You never know. And here's the catch-22. Okay? Was it more important to make sure you got the back end of Marino's career done with the right coach and everything and a chance to win something than Jimmy coming in, destroying the offense, destroying everything Marino could do? But he did hit on a couple of draft picks on the defensive side and left a pretty nice defense for years to come after that. So what would have been better? And that's the bitter part, right? Because we would have never had JT and Zach and Sam and Pat. We wouldn't have had that history. But if you tell me that somehow or another you were able to create a chance to win a title with Marino, no brainer. No brainer. You know what I mean? Not that anything is a guarantee, but I know this. I hated watching Marino go through the 4 years of Jimmy. You could tell Marino was not happy with the way things were structured. It didn't put him in a good light. Dan wasn't a guy that would point fingers and, on the field, he might call you out for not doing a play, but once he got off the field, he wasn't a controversial person where he was throwing anybody under the bus. He never did that. He always took the high road. He was pretty amazing. And especially, I admired Dan a lot that he took the high road throughout those 4 years when he should have been bitching and complaining. He should have gone to Aaron Rodgers on him. You know what I mean? And it was almost like Wayne didn't allow you to trade Dan. So, okay, well, if I can't trade Dan, well, then I'm going to make it harder on all of us, including Dan, that he'll want out. Or so. I almost got like that feeling from Jimmy. It's like it was just like weird. Like, why would you cripple your own offense? Why would you cripple your own quarterback? And why would you tell a Hall of Famer you can no longer audible? Why? Your ego needs to make sure you run your plays? Like I said, when it comes to quarterbacks, Jimmy Johnson is the last guy I want to hear talking about quarterbacks. And I gave you plenty of examples on how he is an absolute disaster on quarterbacks. All right. Nicole Carpenter, if you are over 50 and have cardio disease, your chance of dying from COVID is 27%. Okay. And then Wanstead screwed it up with the biggest mistake for Wanstead was not drafting Breeze and also trading a Goonlier for Marty Booker. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Wani stuff did not work out well, unfortunately. He got carried by that defense. That's for sure. Hey, don't forget, Sunday, we're at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes for the Jags game. Yes, it's a 9:30 game. We're on at 7:30. We're serving breakfast, chicken and waffles, shrimp and grits, all kinds of stuff. Want to have some pancakes and bacon. You can have a burger. You can still have wings. You can have a beer if you want, but you can also have some coffee and breakfast too at the same time. So we'll be open in the morning over at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes this Sunday. So please come on out and join us, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have breakfast. We'll have the game. We'll see Tua. We'll root on the boys. Tua will have a good performance. They'll get a win. We'll have a fun post-game show. So please, I encourage you. Let's pack it in. Let's have some fun over at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes off of 154th and the Palmetto. Come on out. Join us, man. Chicken and waffles, baby. Can't wait for some chicken and waffles. I tasted them. I wanted to have the whole damn dish, but they only made enough just to taste. And it was so good. So good. So damn good. Love chicken and waffles. Every time I go to LA, I stop at Roscoe's. Every time I got to go to Roscoe's. Roscoe's is so good. No, I don't. I thought I had my Roscoe's hat here. Oh, well. Just going to whip it out and put on my Roscoe's hat. Got a badass. I had to get a Roscoe's hat. Love it. But anyway, thank you all. Smash the like button, podcast, YouTube, however it is. Sean Stanley, you're an absolute stud. Driving the program, putting it all together, sir. Thank you. As always, Manny Navarro, we thank, and also Ira Winderman. Tomorrow morning, we start off at 8:30 in the morning because Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint show starts off at 9 from 9 to 10. So tomorrow we start off a little earlier and end a little earlier. So join us tomorrow. We'll have some fun. We'll see you tomorrow. I love you all. You all stay safe. Appreciate it. Be good.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show.